Next generation television, high definition television unlike anything you've ever seen before. Next generation telephone, never get a long distance bill again. iFIBER Communications is so much more than just an ISP. We're part of the story that is yet to be told here in Mason County. Change is here. iFIBER Communications. To find out more, stop by our offices, 3rd and Coda, or call 427-4000 or find us at iFIBER.tv.
Welcome back to America in the Morning at 5 before the hour. David Daniel checks in with the Hollywood Minute.
Is Lindsay Lohan engaged? Us Weekly and other outlets quoting those ever-anonymous sources have been reporting Lohan's boyfriend, Russian real estate heir Igor Tarabasov, popped the question last weekend. But People magazine quotes Lohan's rep as saying the story is untrue and holds no merit. Elton John, movie star? According to The Hollywood Reporter, the Rocket Man is in negotiations to join the cast of Kingsman: The Golden Circle, which is about to begin shooting in London. John doesn't appear on screen too often, but he does have an Oscar for his music for The Lion King.
Here in Northeast Ohio, back in 1803.
Bruce Springsteen made news recently when he canceled a North Carolina concert to protest that state's so-called bathroom law, which critics say discriminates against gays, lesbians, and transgender people. But fellow veteran rockers Jimmy Buffett and Greg Allman are not following suit. Buffett says he doesn't want stupidity or bigotry to ruin his fans' fun, and Allman, calling the situation sad and infuriating, posted that he hopes his show there this week will help unite people. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
It's 3 now before the hour. As mounted shooters aim to grow their sport, Stephen Kaufman fires off this report.
You've seen it many times in Hollywood westerns. Hero cowboys and villains exchanging gunfire while riding their steeds. Fast forward to the 21st century. Now groups like the Wyoming Desperados are bringing back the days of yesteryear. They're a mounted shooting club that draws some old-timers who used to roam the range.
Some people, they cowboy a lot of their lives or rodeoed and just can't live that life anymore.
Leader of the Desperados, Albert Kukuchka, says during competition, riders shoot at balloons instead of villains.
You're doing 30 to 40 miles an hour, and the furthest the balloons are spaced apart are 36 feet. Speed and the accuracy that make it so difficult.
Desperados Vice President Scooter Singbell says riders carry 2 Colt 45s.
And you come down what we call the rundown, which are 5 targets in a row, spaced about 18 to 20 feet apart, and you shoot those 5 as fast as you can go with your second pistol.
However, the bullets aren't the real thing.
They're blanks. It's black powder. The maximum distance they're allowed to travel is 20 feet, so it's safe for spectators.
Singbell claims mounted shooting is the fastest growing equine sport. I'm Stephen Kaufman.
Well, Merle Haggard fans mourned his death by buying his music. On-demand audio and video streams of Haggard's songs jumped to 16 million this past week. And that's it for America in the Morning for Wednesday, April 13th, 2016. Our producer, Tom Delac. I'm John Trout on Westwood One News.
Hi, everyone. This is Mark Tobert, your advertising consultant from iFIBER ONE Newsradio. Are you missing customers because you only market to a specific group? iFIBER ONE Newsradio can help you hit a larger group of buyers with our diverse audience. We are 24 hours of local and national breaking news, award-winning talk radio, and primetime sports, including local high school sports. What does this mean to you? This means our listeners listen longer to entire programs and don't switch to another station when a commercial comes on. Our coverage in the Puget Sound area hits over 500,000 listeners, including Mason County, Thurston County, Grace Harbor County, King, Pierce, Joint Base Lewis McCord, and Kitsap County to the Bremerton Naval Base. All advertising is 100% tax deductible. So how can you afford not to advertise? Call me, Mark Tobert, at iFIBER ONE Newsradio to become a total audience plan advertiser. Just call 360-426-1030.
Alex Jones and InfoWars on from 6 to 9 weekdays on iFIBER ONE News Radio, AM 1030 and FM 103.3 KMAF Shelton.
Here's the latest from ABC News. I'm Karen Chase. If your Verizon cable service goes out, who are you going to call? Not this cable guy.
What they're doing to us is just totally wrong, and we're not going to take it.
He's one of about 40,000 unionized cable and landline workers who walked off the job across the Northeast in a contract dispute. Verizon says it's got plenty of replacement workers. Donald Trump is complaining the Republican National Committee is out to stop his presidential bid by rigging the rules against outsiders. ABC Chief White House correspondent Jonathan Karl has more.
Trump told me that this is not democracy. I mean, he thinks that this entire primary system is corrupt, is crooked. He told me that he was prepared to run in a truly democratic race. He says this is simply not the way it should be. He's looking at these delegate rules. He's getting out-hustled by Ted Cruz, and he's crying foul.
RNC officials are telling him to get a clue, saying the rules are the rules and he should know them, adding, give us a break. A Chinese court has ruled against a gay couple in the country's first same-sex marriage case. John Sudworth with the BBC in Beijing says the two men sued a local civil affairs bureau for a marriage certificate.
Sun Wenlin, an internet company employee, and Hu Mingliang, a security guard, were greeted at the courthouse by the cheers of around 300 supporters. The men met online in 2014, and in June last year, to mark their first anniversary together, they tried and failed to get their relationship recognized as a marriage in the central city of Changsha, where they live.
The battle against cancer is heating up. Napster co-founder Sean Park is donating $250 million to gather 300 scientists from leading institutions to share cancer study findings. Some of America's brightest young minds are gathering at the White House for President Obama's final science fair. The goal is to recognize them like sports champions. Ears to you, Mickey Mouse. The solar panels that help power Walt Disney World in Florida are shaped like the famous mouse himself. They were switched on this week. Disney is the parent company of ABC. This is ABC News.
Let's face it, you don't drive that beige minivan to turn heads. So it's embarrassing when your brake pads start screeching like a wounded eagle at every stop sign you come to. Right now, you can silence a squeal with a great deal on CarQuest Gold brake pads, courtesy of your neighborhood Advance Auto Parts. And when you purchase a set of pads along with 2 rotors, you can get $15 back by mail. Advance Auto Parts. Let's get you back to the garage. Also available at participating CarQuest Auto Parts. Mail and rebate. Void where prohibited. See store for details.
These days, we barely give lunch the time of day. We bag it, rush it, skip it, and leave it to fend for itself in the fridge. What used to be a break is but a blip on the radar. Well, it's time to take lunch back. At TGI Fridays, get one of our new fast, fresh pairings, like a strawberry field salad with chicken and a bowl of turkey kale soup for just $6.99. And with quick mobile pay, settle up whenever you want, which means you'll have time for a refreshing triple berry smoothie. Make lunch count. Only at TGI Fridays. At participating restaurants, available Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Police in Texas have made an arrest in the case of the mugging of a corpse. A thief was caught on camera first, trying to steal a ring off the finger of the deceased. More from ABC's Jim Ryan.
When loved ones of the late Lois Hicks were planning her funeral, they made a snap judgment.
My mom and aunt made the decision not to put her real wedding band on because things happen. People are crazy these days.
Sure enough, someone walked into the viewing room of the Odessa, Texas funeral parlor and stole the $10 ring from Lois's finger. Surveillance video went viral, and now a woman named Kaylin Homfeld is in custody. Brandy Carrasco has forgiven her because now
we can give the respect that's due to my grandmother.
Jim Ryan, ABC News, Dallas.
The allegations against Bill Cosby are still working their way through the legal system, but one thing has changed. California's state legislature is pushing forward with a measure that would end the state's 10-year statute of limitations on rape and child molestation charges. Similar efforts have failed in the past, but because of the timing, this one has traction. Karen Chase, ABC.
Local news is brought to you by Fred Holmes Tree Service. FredHolmesTreeService.com, 427-4489.
From the iFIBER ONE Newsradio studios, I'm Marilyn Foster. Mason County Support Services Director has announced his retirement. Bill Kenny, who's been the director since January 2014, says his last day on the job is May 31st. Kenny discussed his departure with the commissioners in recent weeks and said he had personal issues that required his attention. His mother is in intensive care. Mason County Commissioner Terry Jeffries said Kenny's departure will be a great loss. The commissioners agreed to appoint Frank Pinter to temporarily fill Kenny's position in his absence or until it's permanently filled. He was appointed interim director of support services. Pinter served as finance manager for the Mason County Sheriff's Office before he accepted the county budget manager job more than 2 years ago. 2 finalists have been named to lead community services and public works. Mason County commissioners agreed to offer the county's new community services director job to the administrator of the Northeast Tri-County Health District, David Wyndham. The commissioners also voted unanimously to make an offer to the managing engineer for transportation at the city of Bremerton, Jerry Hoff, who previously worked as Mason County Public Works Director about 10 years ago. The commissioners directed county human resources staff to negotiate contracts with the 2 prospects for the high-ranking positions. The commissioners will come back to confirm the hires if Wyndham and Hoff accept the county's offer. If Wyndham accepts, he'll step into a new position created by the commissioners that places him in the lead role over 2 county departments, Community Services and the Health Department. He would supervise Community Development and Health Department finances, planning, and the Permit Assistance Center. The new director would also oversee the Environmental Health and Community Family Health Departments. It's National Volunteer Week, and Carrie Lemon from United Way of Mason County told Daybreak about a new website to help you get involved and make a difference.
Yeah, so we wanted to have one central location where nonprofits can post what their needs are and individuals can post what they like to do, so that we match those. So a lot of times people say, well, I don't know what I would do if I volunteer, or, what type of opportunities are there out there? It's really easy because we can match what people like to do. So if they're open to anything, that's great. If they're specific, they want to work with the elderly or reading buddies for kids, then we can match them to what their likes are. And this program does that. And it also tracks how many hours they use. So North Mason High School has a 10-hour requirement volunteering for graduating, and I think Shelton High School is right behind it. And so this program tracks all of that.
Find the website at volunteermason.org to see upcoming volunteer events and opportunities. For iFIBER One News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3, I'm Marilyn Foster.
It's about your life and your money. It's the Dave Ramsey Show.
Self-control, self-discipline. It's one of the most powerful things that a human being can learn. Parents who do not teach their children discipline do not set them up for the ability to learn to discipline themselves or control themselves, because you are not teaching your child self-control. Consequently, we've raised a wussified generation. Hi, this is Dave Ramsey. Tune into my show weekdays from noon to 3 on iFIBER One News Radio.
This is Doug Sample from Whitney Chevrolet. We're going to save you money. Montesano has one of the lowest sales tax rates in the state, plus our costs are way less than other dealers. And right now, we're offering up to 90 days with no payments on any new or used vehicles with proof of your tax refund. They all come with lifetime oil changes to boot. Stop by and visit WhitneyChev.com to check out our inventory.
A $150 negotiable document fee may be added to the price of all vehicles.
Worth the drive to Whitney's, just down the road to Whitney.
Now from the all-new Gillis Auto Center Sports Desk, here's Sean Wells.
North Thurston took a 2-0 lead into halftime and added 2 more goals in the second half to knock off Shelton on the pitch 4-0. The win moves North Thurston to 4-3 in conference play, while Shelton drops to 2-4-1. The High Climbers are back in action hosting Capital this Friday. The misery continues for the Mariner offense at Safeco Field. The Texas Rangers blanked Seattle 8-0 in Game 2 of the 3-game series. Seattle only mustered 4 hits while the Rangers racked up 12. Former Mariner Adrian Beltre was the big hitter for Texas, going 2 for 4 at the plate with 5 RBIs and a 2-run home run.
Miley's 2-2 swinging. This is clobbered into left field. Oki having a race back, looking up, and this is gone into Edgar's Cantina right beneath the manual scoreboard. That's a bullet home run by Adrian Beltre, his second of the season. It comes with 2 outs and 2 on. And the Rangers have taken a 5-0 lead here in the third.
The Ames will look to break the 5-game losing streak when they host the Rangers again this afternoon. Pregame gets going on iFIBER One News Radio at 11:30 a.m. First pitch set for 12:40. For iFIBER One News Radio, I'm Sean Wells.
Good morning. It's 6:10. I'm Carol Gardner, and here's the weather. It's a few light showers this morning with an increase later today. Highs in the upper 50s. Tomorrow, some showers in the morning but decreasing to mostly cloudy. And a look ahead, dry conditions and the sun will be back. Right now it's 45.
Now, from the iFIBER One News Radio studios, it's Daybreak. Providing local news, sports, weather, and interviews to the South Sound's most important people. You. From business leaders to politicians, from activists for change to advocates for the poor, your neighbors and newsmakers are here on Daybreak.
6:10 on a Wednesday. Good morning to you. Daybreak with Jeff and Carol. Morning there, Carol.
Good morning.
I was going to text you yesterday after the rain. I says, whoa, what are we getting into? It's a little too much rain here. It was dumping hard in Thurston County, parts of west side of Olympia in the afternoon. Some heavy showers, heavy rain.
You may see some of that today as well.
Wow. Then I looked ahead into next week, sneaking a peek, thinking about going to the spring fair, Puyallup Fair this weekend. I took a sneak peek, and I saw temperatures near, again, 70s.
Yeah, there's... For the weekend, they do say some sun will be seen.
I like it. Some sun will be seen. There's always, you can always see some sun. It just happens to be often behind the clouds. Transit talk today at 8:15 and port of call at 8:45. And we've got more stories to pass along throughout the day here. Wilder weather means some tricky times for reservoir operators. Kind of a fun story based out of Idaho, but has ties here to Washington. Also, some new businesses. Business must be good in Seattle if people are able to come up with ideas like food truck for Fido.
I think you can come up with the idea. We'll just see how well it does. Then
that somebody even decided, says, listen, I'm at a point in my life where let's go for this.
Well, I think you could do that anywhere, can't you?
I wouldn't. That's quite a tightrope.
Well, don't quit your day job.
The governor fires the hospital chief following those escapes last week. And another city council wants to put the pot question to voters. 6:12 here now at iFIBER One News Radio. We'll take a break here from NFL Now. Draft coming up. Also, when we come back, more on the story about the lady who was found in the recycling bin as we're starting to learn more about the alleged attacker.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER One News Radio.
I'm Will Selva with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. The National Football League announcing Tuesday that 25 top prospects are confirmed to attend the 2016 NFL Draft at the Auditorium Theater of Roosevelt University in Chicago later this month. That includes a record-tying 5 players from Ohio State, quarterback Eli Apple, defensive end Joey Bosa, offensive tackle Taylor Decker, running back Ezekiel Elliott, and linebacker Darren Lee. Ohio State's 5 players equal the record set by Alabama in 2012. Also in attendance will be the last 2 national title-winning head coaches, Ohio State's Urban Meyer and Nick Saban from Alabama. They'll be joined by 10 other NCAA head coaches who will join their players in the green room as they await their selections. Make sure you watch the NFL Draft presented by Verizon live from Chicago. First-round coverage kicks off Thursday, April 28th at 8 Eastern on NFL Network. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
Top shelf, the good stuff. It's harder to reach for a reason. You don't get it for just anybody, but your baby isn't just anybody. So this month, Napa is making the good stuff a little easier to get with Castrol Edge Full Synthetic Motor Oil for just $5.79 a quart. So go ahead, treat her right, and get Castrol Edge for $5.79 a quart. She'll thank you later. That's Napa know-how. General states pricing. Sales prices do not include applicable state, local taxes, or recycling fees. Offer expires 4/30/16.
How strong is Allegra D?
It's my congestion's out of my way strong. Even in the park, playing with my dogs. Go fetch, Bosley.
Allegra D, a fast, non-drowsy antihistamine plus a powerful decongestant that starts relieving your toughest allergy symptoms in under 1 hour.
Allegra D is breathing free for 24 hours strong, even in the convertible.
Allegra D, strong relief for your allergy symptoms. Guaranteed or your money back. Visit Allegra.com. Use only as directed.
iFIBER ONE News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3 presents Daybreak.
.6:15 on a Wednesday morning. Good morning to you. This is Daybreak here. Jeff and Carol on iFIBER ONE News Radio, on the Twitter at iFIBER ONE Radio, and also on Facebook this morning. You can search for us at facebook.com/1030KMAS. Our legal numbers there at the FCC. The FCC is 6:15. Some reservoir operators in the Northwest say wilder swings in weather patterns in the last decade, making it trickier to fill reservoirs for irrigation and power generation, while also avoiding the risk of flooding homes downstream. This is interesting. The other day I was thinking about that. I got a bunch of dirt. Dirt for fill.
Soil. You got some soil.
I got some soil. Thank you. And so I showed up to the soil place with the big truck, and it loaded the big truck. And then I got to thinking, while I was waiting around, how big the trucks must be that bring the dirt to them. Where do they get the dirt? And this is kind of along the same, you never think about the person that is there monitoring the level of the reservoir. The person who's got the handle on the door that can let a little water out here and there.
I highly doubt it's that way anymore.
It's probably computers, you're right. But at one point, imagine a person there being able to slowly open the gates, the floodgates, if you will, to allow these reservoirs. So pretty interesting. On the eastern side of the Continental Divide, the agency's Missouri River Basin Water Management Division, Chief Jody Farhat, says 9 of the basin's 10 highest runoff years have occurred since 1970. So they're struggling with these recent weather patterns, but some data they're able to use from past years is reliable for making predictions on what to do. Unusual combination of weather events in 2011 led to widespread flooding, and NOAA is working on a study to better try to understand runoff variability. So pretty interesting story there. Heading up north to Seattle, Carol's trying to find some more detailed information on this. Looks like she is, so let me give you the story first. Food truck in Seattle gone to the Roof Dogs, catering to our canine companions. The Seattle Barkery, capitalizing on the Seattle area's love of dogs and love of food trucks. Let's mix them together, offering homemade treats for canines. They rolled into operation 10 months ago, serving dogs at Seattle area dog parks, office building parking lots, farmers markets, and private events. Popular offerings include the air-fried chicken feet and duck neck. Also cupcakes with bacon, yum, called pupcakes. Now, Carol's on their website, and they got a Now, how can a dog access this website?
I still think the human involved has to do it, but it's for some reason it's loading very slow on my computer. So I checked out the website, and a small 4 to 6 slices personalized cake for your dog. That's with the bacon and such. $25.
Oh my gosh.
Now, is that something that you would do?
No. Sounds to me like things are going quite well, as I mentioned.
They are. And I think it's great that they have the business and people are, supporting their business.
I think you have to have the same health standards. It is just a dog.
I think they have to have the same health standards, definitely. I think so.
We'll get that website loaded and we'll look into more. A troubled Washington State Psychiatric Hospital will have new leadership after a man accused of torturing a woman to death escaped from the facility last week. The governor yesterday fired Western State Chief Executive Officer Ron Adler. Inslee said he would be replaced by Cheryl Strange effective April 25th. Strange has previously managed the state's public mental health system. Escape was the latest in a litany of problems at the 800-bed Western State Hospital. Violent assaults occurred for both staff and patients. 6:19 here at iFIBER ONE News Radio. Milton Freewater officials are allowing voters to decide whether marijuana businesses should be banned in the Umatilla County city. The Walla Walla Union Bulletin reporting the city council voted on Monday to put a pot ban measure on the November 8 general election ballot. They also approved a resolution that calls for a 3% tax on pot sales if voters chose to lift the city's current ban. The council's decision comes after it voted in December against changes in the city's zoning laws to allow retail or medical pot dispensaries.
And the family of the woman slain and dismembered over the weekend has released a statement saying their hearts are broken and can never fully be mended. The family of 40-year-old Ingrid Lynn said Tuesday a light went out of their lives forever with the death of their beloved mother, daughter, sister, and friend. They expressed gratitude and community support and thanked Seattle and Renton police for working to find the truth about what happened. They said the police showed compassion, even feeding Lynn's daughter's cats when needed at their home, which is now considered a crime scene. And court records, I mean, it's a really evolving and strange story.
Told you this morning, and I don't know if you did not know this, but I have come to find out she met the alleged attacker, online, went to an online date, they met online. They were going to go on a date, and they went to opening night at the Mariners.
Yeah, which you go to a public place. That's what you're supposed to do when you first meet somebody. So what happened after that? It's just really, I hope they find out all the information so you can sort of put people's fears to rest. Because did he slip her a roofie in her beer or a drink or something?
Here you see some stuff about their parents.
Yeah, so court records are showing the parents of this man. One sought a restraining order against them, saying they feared for their safety because of their son's drunken outbursts. The court records show that the parents of this John Robert Charlton filed for a temporary protection order, and that was in 2006. He said their son tried to provoke fights with them when he was drunk and he was abusive. The petition was later dismissed at the parents' request. We will find out more and we will relay that to you because it's really, it's very strange.
Throughout the morning, we'll kind of also talk about ways to look at online dating. I'm at a Fox News site right now. Fox News has a story about the risky dangers of online dating. We'll kind of go over that, share with you some of those things. I have a friend who posted about this on Facebook. Single lady, a similar story, almost exactly the same. Single mom, kid. She's scared now a little.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER ONE Newsradio.
Is your hip pain trying to tell you something? You can't do what you used to do? Don't just live with it. A solution is close by. Shelton Orthopedics has expert orthopedic surgeons who can give you a new lease on life with coordinated treatment that puts an end to the pain and immobility. Why live with the pain and limitations of osteoarthritis or joint injuries when they are treatable? Shelton Orthopedics offers a range of services from orthotics, surgical joint repair, and joint replacement. Arrange a consultation with an orthopedic surgeon today by calling Shelton Orthopedics at 427-0663.
Mason General Hospital Shelton Orthopedics is part of Mason General Hospital and family of clinics. Equal opportunity provider, translation services provided.
Mason General and family of clinics.
Mornings start with Daybreak on iFIBER ONE Newsradio. Join Jeff and Carol weekdays from 6 to 9 on AM 1030 and FM 1033 KMAS Shelton.
Never know how.
When you've got a specific job to do, you bring in the specialist, the edger, the trimmer, the leaf blower, other tools that end with "er." Good thing there's VP small engine fuel, now just $4.99 at Napa, with no mixing, no measuring, and no mess. $4.99 VP ready-to-use small engine fuel burns cleaner, so all your lawn equipment runs smoother, better, and other adjectives that end with "er." That's Napa know-how. At participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Offer expires 4/30/16.
Now that fishing season is just around the corner, Lucky Eagle Casino wants to help you land the big one.
All this month, you can enter our $140,000 boat full of cash giveaway.
Earn entries daily to win a new fishing boat or thousands in cash April 29th. Additional prizes include hotel rooms, meals, gift cards, and more.
So visit often and win big in April.
Lucky Eagle Casino and Hotel, I-5 to exit 88 Rochester, Washington, where you belong. Details at luckyeagle.com.
iFIBER ONE Newsradio, 1030 KMAS and FM 1033 presents Daybreak.
Uh-oh. I hear dogs out there. They're getting ready to go to the barkery.
All right.
So you were saying, so I was looking at some houses up in the Kirkland area. Good morning, everybody. It's Daybreak. Jeff and Carol were talking about this. It was like Pet Day or something yesterday. And so they got this new Barkery. It's a food truck that's catering just to dogs.
Yeah.
Question. You don't have to answer this if you don't want to.
Okay.
Have you ever tried dog treats? Ate dog treats?
I think I took a nibble on one thing that one of my sisters. Well, actually, there's sort of a funny story. I have tried a little bit of a nibble on one of them, just to see, just barely, just to see what organic type of treat. And then one time, I was about to open up these treats and start eating them, and then my sister had to stop me. She's like, "Those are for Ezzy or Melly." Sorry, Melly.
Yeah, get the dog's name right.
Well, she had an Ezzy, and now she has a Melly. So, those are she buys top class treats and food.
You can't tell the difference.
You cannot tell the difference. I mean,
I've read the ingredients list, and it seems like back in my mid-20s.
Better for them than what you're getting.
My mid-20s, the dogs definitely ate better than I did. I've tried a milk bone once. I don't think I made it through the whole way, but you see these things, and you're wondering. The dogs would just wolf them up.
Yeah.
Wolf them up. So why wouldn't they taste good? And so I was going, who's going to spend $25 on a
cupcake?
Birthday cupcake?
Well, it was for 4. And you invite your dog friends.
That's right. And you have a little pup party.
Yeah.
Well,
pup cake.
You're wondering who's got the money to do this? Up there in the Seattle area, I was looking at some homes near where my father-in-law's family lives. Kirkland area. Some of those homes starting in the low $1 millions. What?
You're just the poor cousin, Jeffrey.
No, I mean, I wouldn't. You got to deal with all that Seattle stuff if you live up there. So you got to take the good with the bad. But
that is very
$1 million homes.
Yeah.
People do have that disposable income up there.
They do.
627 at iFIBER ONE News Radio. Transit Talk today at 8:15. 8:45, we'll have our Port of Call segment here on iFIBER ONE News Radio. Coming up this morning as well, we're getting a preview of the annual, these are so much fun, the Wasted Government Spending Reports. The Congressional Pig Book that a watchdog group released today. And we'll have some reports on that. There's a Republican senator out there talking about how some of your tax dollars are spent. So that's kind of a fun one. Studies like, can monkeys drive semi-trucks? And they'll have $1 billion on a study to see if these monkeys can drive these things. And you go, no, they can't. Give me the money, and I'll just tell you that.
Save those. Actually, I would have just, should be your new job.
Also, today is Scrabble Day. If you're a fan of Scrabble, it is National Scrabble Day.
The game was invented in 1933 and always felt kind of old school. This commercial for Scrabble actually came out in 1990. It's Scrabble. National Scrabble Day is a time to celebrate the board game that tests vocabularies. It falls on the birthday of Scrabble inventor Alfred Mosher Butts, and the game has evolved in the Words with Friends era, now recognized in the official Scrabble dictionary, selfie, and hashtag. Scott Goldberg, ABC News.
I didn't know there was a theme song to Scrabble.
No, that's there.
Summers by the sea.
This is from 1990.
To myself.
Best word? Can you remember your best score of Scrabble ever?
No.
Who can put hashtag? That's got to be all 7 letters. Yeah, that's all 7 letters. You get
what
a
if
bonus
they have a new hashtag Scrabble?
Here's what I love. Scrabble comes out. It's around forever. People play Scrabble. Then we all get smartphones and download Words with Friends. And we're all playing Words with Friends against each other, which is a fun game. I don't play it anymore, but it's a fun game. Then I get to the toy store where I'm getting Kaiser something for something. And I'm looking at the board games. And now Words with Friends has a board game called Words with Friends.
Comes around.
It's like Amazon making a bookstore. It just doesn't make sense. 6:30.
But everybody wants something different. And you have to...
I know, but why wouldn't you just buy Scrabble?
Because people maybe your age or younger don't even know what Scrabble is.
Scrabbles are old.
Yeah, old folks sitting around. So I want Words with Friends that sounds upbeat, fresh.
rather play words with friends.
What if everything was just the same?
You're listening to Daybreak on
Yes.
iFIBER One News Radio.
Local news is brought to you by Shelton Health and Rehabilitation Center. Find them online at sheltonhealthandrehab.com.
From the iFIBER One News Radio studios, I'm Marilyn Foster. Mason County Support Services Director has announced his retirement. Bill Kenny, who's been the director since January 2014, says his last day on the job is May 31st. Kenny discussed his departure with the commissioners in recent weeks and said he had personal issues that required his attention. His mother is in intensive care. Mason County Commissioner Terry Jeffries said Kenny's departure will be a great loss. The commissioners agreed to appoint Frank Pinter to temporarily fill Kenny's position in his absence or until it's permanently filled. He was appointed interim director of support services. Pinter served as finance manager for the Mason County Sheriff's Office before he accepted the county budget manager job more than 2 years ago. 2 finalists have been named to lead community services and public works. Mason County commissioners agreed to offer the county's new community services director job to the administrator of the Northeast Tri-County Health District, David Wyndham. The commissioners also voted unanimously to make an offer to the managing engineer for transportation at the city of Bremerton, Jerry Hoff, who previously worked as Mason County Public Works Director about 10 years ago. The commissioners directed county human resources staff to negotiate contracts with the 2 prospects for the high-ranking positions. The commissioners will come back to confirm the hires if Wyndham and Hoff accept the county's offer. If Wyndham accepts, he'll step into a new position created by the commissioners that places him in the lead role over 2 county departments, Community Services and the Health Department. He would supervise Community Development and Health Department finances, planning, and the Permit Assistance Center. The new director would also oversee the Environmental Health and Community Family Health Departments. It's National Volunteer Week, and Carrie Lemon from United Way of Mason County told Daybreak about a new website to help you get involved and make a difference.
Yeah, so we wanted to have one central location where nonprofits can post what their needs are and individuals can post what they like to do, so that we match those. So a lot of times people say, well, I don't know what I would do if I volunteer, or, what type of opportunities are there out there? It's really easy because we can match what people like to do. So if they're open to anything, that's great. If they're specific, they want to work with the elderly or reading buddies for kids, then we can match them to what their likes are. And this program does that. And it also tracks how many hours they use. So North Mason High School has a 10-hour requirement volunteering for graduating. And I think Shelton High School is right behind it. And so this program tracks all of that.
Find the website at volunteermason.org to see upcoming volunteer events and opportunities. For iFIBER One News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3, I'm Marilyn Foster.
Arch Mechanical. Our name begins with affordable. Affordable refrigeration, cooling, and heating. Whether residential, commercial, or food service equipment, your satisfaction is of utmost importance. And with over 30 years of experience, Arch Mechanical Service is backed by a 30-day labor guarantee. Serving South and West Puget Sound, there is no need to pay for one of those big city technicians. Call 360-229-2139. Arch Mechanical. Our name begins with affordable.
Gates. Hi, everybody. Dave Packer reporting on sports. The O's getting another win with J.J. Hardy providing the muscle in Boston.
Swinging a high fly ball heading down the line towards the pesky pole again. In the corner it goes, and that ball is gone. He's done it again.
On WJZ, Baltimore 7-0. On the other side of the spectrum, Atlanta looking for its first win, but things go south in the 8th.
Drew has scored, coming to the plate window. He dives in head first. The throw is offline.
On WJFK National Slip-By, the Braves 2-1. They're 0-7. NBA history on the line tonight. If the Warriors beat Memphis, they'll set the record for most regular season wins.
Should be a fun 48 minutes. And hopefully a night we'll remember for a long time.
That's guard Steph Curry. And Lakers' Kobe Bryant will play in his last NBA game. This is ABC Sports. The Oakland A's take a 4-3 lead into the 9th against the Angels.
And he hits a ball well in the left center field. That ball is out of here. He just hit a 2-run homer, and the Angels are on top. It's 5-4.
On KLAA, Halos win 5-4. Giants catcher Buster Posey missing time with a badly bruised foot. So backup catcher Trevor Brown gets a chance to shine in the spotlight.
3-2 pitch. There's a high drive deep to left center field. Way back there, still going. And goodbye!
On KNBR, Brown goes deep twice. Giants drop the Rockies 7-2. Other scores, Marlins sink the Mets 2-1. Phillies blank the Padres 3-0. Yankees sneak by Toronto 3-2. Tampa beats Cleveland 5-1. Texas crushes Seattle 8-0. And the Royals hold off Houston 3-2. Durant and Westbrook sit as OKC falls to the Spurs in overtime 102-98. Clippers wallop Memphis. Toronto spanks Philly. And Indiana easily handles the Knicks. Dave Packer, ABC Sports.
Are you a do-it-yourselfer or a direct-it-yourselfer?
Every weekend, people tell us about overspending on projects they could have handled themselves for lots less money.
And we hear from people who ended up overspending because they tried to do something they should have called in a pro to tackle.
Well, we'll help you sort it out. I'm Tom Kreitler.
And I'm Leslie Segretti. Got a remodeling or a repair project?
We can help you decide whether to do it yourself or direct it yourself this weekend on the Money Fit Home Improvement Radio Show.
Saturdays at 10, Sundays at 7 on iFIBER ONE Newsradio.
Now from the all-new Gillis Auto Center Sports Desk, here's Sean Wells.
North Thurston took a 2-0 lead into halftime and added 2 more goals in the second half to knock off Shelton on the pitch 4-0. The win moves North Thurston to 4-3 in conference play, while Shelton drops to 2-4-1. The High Climbers are back in action hosting Capital this Friday. The misery continues for the Mariner offense at Safeco Field. The Texas Rangers blanked Seattle 8-0 in Game 2 of the 3-game series. Seattle only mustered 4 hits while the Rangers racked up 12. Former Mariner Adrian Beltre was the big hitter for Texas, going 2 for 4 at the plate with 5 RBIs and a 2-run home run.
Miley's 2-2 swinging. This is clobbered into left field. Aoki having a race back, looking up, and this is gone into Edgar's Cantina right beneath the manual scoreboard. That's a bullet home run by Adrian Beltre, his second of the season. It comes with 2 outs and 2 on. And the Rangers have taken a 5-0 lead here in the third.
The Ames will look to break the 5-game losing streak when they host the Rangers again this afternoon. Pregame gets going on iFIBER ONE Newsradio at 11:30 a.m. First pitch set for 12:40. For iFIBER ONE Newsradio, I'm Sean Wells.
Good morning. It's 6:40 and I'm Carol Gardner. A few light showers this morning with an increase in showers later today. Highs in the upper 50s. Tomorrow some showers in the morning but decreasing to mostly cloudy. And a look ahead, it's going to have some dry conditions and we should see the sun again. Right now it's 45.
Now from the iFIBER ONE News Radio studios, it's Daybreak. Providing local news, sports, weather, and interviews to the South Sound's most important people. You, from business leaders to politicians, from activists for change to advocates for the poor. Your neighbors and newsmakers are here on Daybreak.
6:38, iFIBER ONE Newsradio. Good morning to you. It is Daybreak. Jeff and Carol, and good morning to you. Carol?
Good morning to me, Jeff. It's Wednesday.
It is Wednesday.
Middle of the week.
Middle of the week. Halfway done. We're on our way down, over the hump, if you will. We've been talking about some of these stories from around the Northwest, including some snowpack that we'll talk about. The Spokane River as snowpack is melting. Some warmer nights going on over there. Here's another one from that side of the mountains. A Hanford nuclear reservation contractor is eligible to receive $18.8 million in incentive pay from U.S. Department of Energy for its work last year, but the money has not been paid because of a dispute. Mission Support Alliance earned 89% of the $21 million in incentive pay possible for fiscal year ending September 2015. Tri-City Herald reports the only negatives listed in a scorecard were costs that the DOE said were inappropriately charged to the federal government. 6:39 now.
A troubled Washington State Psychiatric Hospital will have new leadership after a man accused of torturing a woman to death escaped the facility last week. Governor Jay Inslee on Tuesday fired Western State Chief Executive Officer Ron Adler. Inslee said he would be replaced by Cheryl Strange. at the end of this month. Strange has previously managed the state public and mental health system. The escape was allayed as in a litany of problems in the 800-bed Western State Hospital, where violent assaults on both staff and patients have occurred.
6:39 now, and we'll live the country life in just a couple of moments here on iFIBER ONE News Radio. About 14% of the Spokane River Basin's mountain snowpack has melted away in recent weeks. They've had some warm nights over there. The review reports that temps in the mountains have been 10 to 15 degrees warmer than usual at night. Researchers says warmer nights are consistent with climate change, could have long-term ramifications for the Northwest snowpack and summer water supplies. On Friday, low temp at Mullen Pass was 46 degrees. You're like, yeah? Well, that's a full 20 degrees warmer than normal for the 6,000-foot elevation mountain pass right near the Idaho-Montana border. So on Monday, the snowpack for the Spokane River Basin, about 81% of normal for this time. Hopefully, we can get something, at least if no more additional snowpack, that the temperatures are going to be such that we'll be okay into the summer.
Well, I just looked up the official snowpack ratings on the, I think it was a Washington weather site. Anyways, it said that we are within normal ranges of our snowpack. So if we don't get too warmer temperatures over here, they say we should be okay. But the reservoir story we had earlier, I mean, the weather is wacky and it's hard to determine what's exactly going to happen. And it's supposed to be a milder, warmer summer. You know, hot weather coming into this summer and then a milder winter happening. So I guess we just have to wait and see what's
Figure out how to do that. 6:41 now, iFIBER ONE News Radio. Saturday is Olympic National Junior Ranger Day. Children of all ages are invited to bring their favorite adults to National Junior Ranger Day this Saturday from 10 to 2 p. Event taking place at the Olympic National Park Visitors Center. It's on Mount Angeles Road in Port Angeles. Olympic National Park Superintendent Sarah Creechbaum says Junior Ranger Day is a favorite annual event kicking off this year with National Park Week. Free admission to all park entrances April 16th through the 24th. Next week on Daybreak, because of National Park Week, Monday, we're going to have Mark Ziegler in from the city of Shelton. He's going to tell us about the different parks in the city, what you can do there, the different amenities that you can see. And then the next day, Jeff Vrabel is coming in, and he's going to talk about the parks in the county system, because there's a lot of great parks. We are blessed to have a lot of open space around these parts. Get out there and enjoy it. We'll let you know where those are starting next week for Park Week. 6:42. Good morning to you.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER ONE News Radio.
To celebrate the return of spring and the appearance of the traveler on the face of Mount Washington, join Hood Canal Events for the first ever Traveler 5K Run and Walk Saturday, April 23rd. Live music, food, local vendors from Hood Canal, and a beer and wine garden. Dress up and enjoy the beginning of spring and a new tradition on Hood Canal. The Traveler 5K Run and Walk Saturday, April 23rd at the Point across from Alderbrook Golf Club. Register at hoodcanalevents.com.
Peninsula Credit Union presents PHIL. PHIL stands for Peninsula Home Improvement Loan. Designed to help you get things done around the house, PHIL can help you a little or a lot. This is not a second mortgage. With a Peninsula Home Improvement Loan, you can get 7.24% APR on a 60-month loan or 7.49% APR for 120 months. From replacing the roof to new flooring and everything home-related in between, take advantage of a Peninsula Home Improvement Loan, and PHIL will help you get the job done. Call Peninsula Credit Union today. 800-426-1601. That's 800-426-1601. Or apply online at pcfcu.org. OAC. See representatives for details. Limited time offer. Additional terms and conditions may apply. Annual percentage rate is effective as of June 11, 2014. Loan amounts from $500 to $15,000. Terms available from 60 months up to 120 months. For payment examples, call 800-426-1601.
Wood mulches hold in soil moisture, suppress weeds, and protect against temperature extremes. Hi, I'm Jody Henke. The type of mulch you choose depends on the attributes you're looking for as you're living the country life.
Living the country life. Ideas and inspiration for your place in the country. You can find more information on today's topic and from previous shows by visiting us online at livingthecountrylife.com. We'll return to the show after these messages.
He's done 3 tours and now he's saving his dad's farm. Do you know a farmer veteran like that? We're inviting you to share their story. Successful Farming Magazine and Grasshopper Mowers are teaming up to acknowledge and thank farmer veterans for their service. This new initiative is called From Fighter to Farmer. Enter any veteran farmers you know in our contest at agriculture.com/fighter to farmer. Explain the veteran's military experience and farming operation, along with the involvement they have in your community. 3 veterans will receive a combination prize package of $5,000 and a vacation to Nashville. One lucky winner will also receive a $10,000 gift certificate to spend at Grasshopper Mowers. No purchase necessary. Open to legal residents of the 40 contiguous United States and D.C. 13 years and older. Begins February 1st, 2016 and ends April 30th, 2016. Subject to official rules at agriculture.com/fighter to farmer rules. Void in Alaska, Hawaii, and where prohibited. Sponsored Meredith Corporation. From Fighter to Farmer is brought to you by Grasshopper Mowers. Enter any veteran farmer you know in our contest at agriculture.com/fighter to farmer.
Every spring, I fill in the bare spots around my flower gardens with red cedar mulch. It's a little pricey, but it looks nice and smells good too. Dan Sullivan is an extension soil scientist at Oregon State University. He says the prettier and more uniform the chips are, the more you'll pay for it. People tend to use this in areas that are highly visible. The inexpensive mulches come from arborists who clean up storm debris and grind up different kinds of wood. It might look a little rough, but Sullivan says the plants don't care. It still makes a nice mulch material. One thing you do need to consider when choosing wood mulch is how well water can infiltrate down to the soil. He says this depends on the size of the particles.
Generally, things like wood chips, arborist mulch, or bark nuggets will all have large particle size and water can go through easily. When I get into finer grind stuff, the decorative mulches from Douglas fir or hemlock or sawdust, those things can kind of mat down and actually create a water impervious barrier sometimes.
Another factor affected by wood particle size is its ability to stop the weeds.
So if you're looking for a weed control, your best mulches are large particle size and low in nutrients. And so any of your wood product mulches would be fine, either coarse chips or bark nuggets.
A mulch layer excludes sunlight, and without the light, many weeds have a tough time getting a foothold. Sullivan says that coarse woody mulch needs to be at least 3 inches deep to smother most annual weeds. Mulch won't kill perennial weeds like bindweed or Canadian thistle. What are your favorite wood mulches? Tell us at livingthecountrylife.com. I'll see you in the country.
Living the country life. Ideas and inspiration for your place in the country. You can find more information on today's topic, share your tips, and post photos by visiting us online.
iFIBER ONE News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3 presents Daybreak.
648, iFIBER ONE News Radio. Good morning to you. It is Daybreak here. Jeff and Carol. Big doings in the NBA tonight, Carol. You a basketball fan?
I like the Seattle Supersonics.
Like the sound of a nice swish. You like the Seattle? Well, then this story is not for you.
I know.
Kobe Bryant's last game is tonight. The Black Mamba has been playing for, 20 years? He was part of the 96 draft, which is considered one of the best drafts ever in the history of the NBA. He's played for the Lakers the whole time. Kobe Bryant, 5 championship rings. A little on the downward side of his career these days. We'll just say that. Not shooting the percentages that he used to. However, tonight, all of the NBA is starting to wrap up. So you got your choice of marquee matchups, historical significance, both happening in California, one in Los Angeles, one in Oakland. Here's the one about Kobe Bryant.
Three-pointer by Kobe.
After an unprecedented 20 seasons wearing Laker gold tonight, Kobe Bryant says goodbye, telling reporters he has no specific regrets.
Things are the way they are for a reason.
During his career, Bryant dealt with injury and a sex assault case in Colorado. He played almost 49,000 minutes, and tonight it comes to an end. Demand to see Bryant's final game is so high, courtside seats are going for over $27,000 per seat. The average price for a ticket inside Staples Center tonight, about $1,000. Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Well, so then the question is, you going to spend $1,000 for the nosebleed sections?
I don't even spend $1,000 for the current basketball players.
Well, so you could say that, but this is truly an LA thing.
Yeah.
This is for folks who have grown up literally with Kobe. 20 years, my goodness.
History making.
So you can say that I was there at that last game. I was there, and you know he's going to
a goodie bag.
She gave away jerseys or something. Everybody wants to be at this game who lives in LA, who's a Kobe fan, and I think the other game that's going on is the Golden State Warriors, who just the other day tied with 96, 97 Bulls, 98 Bulls, one of those late 90s Bulls teams that won 72 games. Great record. They're going for number 73 tonight in Oakland.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of got to go, do you want to see the end of an era with Kobe? Do you want to see the breaking of a major record here with the Golden State Warriors?
Well, I mean, if you're a Kobe fan, then yeah, you want to go see it. Why they gouge the prices? I mean,
that's how it works, man.
I know,
that's it. 27.
Who's making the money?
Well,
just the stadium.
I don't think it's the stadium. It's got to be the scalpers, if I can even say that. So there are some expensive games tonight in the NBA. They're wrapping things up, getting ready for the playoffs. Loosely following the NBA this morning. 6:51, Old Farmer's Almanac. And coming up, some more stories to share with you, to pass along to your friends and family at work, maybe. Man, you hear the tickets to Kobe's game tonight? $27,000. Whoa.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER ONE Newsradio.
April is National Frog Month, and we have some fun facts about our favorite amphibians on the Old Farmer's Almanac Radio Report. With more practical tips and useful advice, this is the Old Farmer's Almanac Radio Report for Wednesday, April 13th, the 104th day of the year. Thomas Jefferson, Butch Cassidy, and five-and-dime mogul F.W. Woolworth were born on this day. April is National Frog Month, so we thought it appropriate to croak about some long-held myths about frogs. Do they really give you warts? Not at all. Warts are caused by human viruses. Secretions from some toads and frogs may cause skin irritations, but they won't cause warts. Can it really rain frogs? Sure, it's not uncommon for frogs to be picked up in a windstorm, carried miles away, and dropped from the sky. And if you ever see a large group of frogs together, don't call it a gaggle, a flock, or a herd. A group of frogs is known as an army. And there is the Old Farmer's Almanac Radio Report. Find more fun facts online at almanac.com.
iFIBER ONE News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3 presents Daybreak.
Hey, good morning to you. A CNBC Business Radio Report coming our way in just a couple of moments. And before too long, we'll have Karen Shade on talking about the morning stock numbers for offices on State Route 3, where throughout this month you can stop on by, drop off some pet food donations to help out Adopt a Pet on Jensen Road, a great organization. Again, that's where I got Simon and Winston. Love those dogs. It is nice to have, we got Coco Moco here running around these days. It's nice to have a friendly companion. I don't know if I'm spending $25 on him for a four-piece.
I don't know. You might
four-piece birthday cake.
A celebration, a special celebration, or you could just make your own and put some bacon on it, and I'm sure they would not care that it did not come from an elite.
We try really hard to keep food from Kaiser from dropping food for the dogs.
Right.
But you definitely know when you go somewhere else that we have dogs. Because food will fall, and then it'll just sit there, and everybody just kind of stares at it, waiting for the dogs to come. I remember my grandma, we used to have a big dog named Smokey.
And my grandpa would sit there at dinner, and then he'd have his big plate of food, and grandma would have to make another plate of food for Smokey. And then the end of the night, you get your bowl of ice cream, and then grandpa would yell to make sure that Smokey got his bowl of ice cream. Smokey, come get your ice cream. 6:55 at iFIBER 1. Much different than the Barkery.
Yes.
Which is up in Seattle. Today's Science Fair Day.
It is Science Fair Day.
What's going on at the White House? They are celebrating this big time.
Yeah, they have the 6th and final White House Science Fair, well, of this administration. So, it's the next generation of scientists, engineers, mathematicians, and innovators.
They're going to be treating them like super sports stars, rightly so, focusing a little more on science there. We did the science fair at Evergreen Elementary. That was a lot of fun.
That was fun.
Encouraging to see the youths, the future leaders of tomorrow, with some pretty cool science exhibits there, coming up with ideas themselves. Kindergarten through 6th grade there at at Evergreen Elementary, I should say. 6:56 at iFIBER 1 News Radio. We're learning more, and these stories are becoming more disturbing regarding the Renton's mom, the death of the mother in Renton, whose body was found in the recycling bins. We're finding more and more about the alleged attacker, John Charlton. He's a 40-year-old guy. He says that they were dating. According to court documents, Charlton, who's 37, I should say, acknowledged to police that he knew Lynn. They said they've been dating for about a month. Returned to her home after attending Mariners game Friday night. After that, the cloud of alcohol intoxication kind of comes into the story. So there's not quite sure the timeline of how this all works. But the next morning, the ex-husband of Lynn shows up to drop the kids off. No answer. He gets concerned, obviously. Calls Lynn's mother, tries to figure out what's going on there. She goes into the home, sees her purse, phone, computer.
And some other yucky stuff in the bathroom.
There is other stuff that that authorities have found as well. So we're continuing to monitor this story, obviously, as everybody is around the world is looking at this as another thing to think about when you try to do online dating.
Well, and really any kind of dating. Just suppose it was somebody that you knew from work that knew somebody. I mean, hopefully there's more of a history.
I guess behind closed doors, really, you just don't know.
Yeah, but online dating, though, is people, it's just like Facebook. People put out their best face or what they want people to see. It's a big story.
Sure. I saw a funny thing on yesterday. You put your picture of yourself, you get no likes or whatever.
Right.
You put a picture of a forest, and you get 100 likes. It's all based on perception. It doesn't...
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER 1 News Radio.
I'm Chris Maurer, CNBC Business Radio. Stocks are higher. The Dow's up 133 points. The Nasdaq higher by 49. About 40,000 of Verizon's wireline employees walked off the job today. That could affect the company's Fios internet, telephone, and TV services in many parts of the East Coast, including New York, Massachusetts, and Virginia. The Communications Workers of America and the International Brotherhood of Electric Workers called for the strike after contract talks reached an impasse. Peabody Energy has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. The world's top coal miner has been feeling the effects of a sharp fall in coal prices. And McCormick Foods has decided not to continue to bid for British food company Premier Foods. The U.S. spice and herb company said it wouldn't sweeten its $763 million offer after Premier rejected the proposal. Chris Maurer, CNBC.
When you've got a specific job to do, you bring in the specialist, the edger, the trimmer, the leaf blower, other tools that end with "er." Good thing there's VP small engine fuel, now just $4.99 at Napa, with no mixing, no measuring, and no mess. $4.99 BP ready-to-use small engine fuel burns cleaner, so all your lawn equipment runs smoother, better, and other adjectives that end with "er." That's Napa know-how. At participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Offer expires 4/30/16.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, U.S. Tax Shield can help you take back control. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Our team of tax attorneys can stop collections and get you protected. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the BBB, so call 800-466-9625. U.S. Tax Shield, 800-466-9625.
Dave Ramsey helps you handle your money. Weekdays from noon to 3 on iFIBER ONE News Radio, AM 1030, FM 1033, KMAS Shelton.
Here's the latest from ABC News. I'm Karen Chase. The so-called affluenza teen is making his first appearance in adult court today, where Ethan Couch could face more jail time in a twist of irony. After his DUI conviction in 2013, when he was sentenced to probation and rehab, his wealthy parents claimed they couldn't afford it. The state of Texas paid half the $200,000 tab. Nearly 40,000 Verizon workers are on strike in a contract dispute. ABC's Aaron Katursky has the latest.
Union workers in the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic went on strike and accused Verizon of destroying middle-class jobs. Contract talks with Communications Workers of America and the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers broke down after 10 months.
What they're doing to us is just totally wrong, and we're not going to take it.
CWA's John Strecquadanio said Verizon wants to freeze pensions for landline and cable workers and make layoffs easier. Verizon said a strike benefits no one and train non-union workers to fill in. Aaron Katursky, ABC News, New York.
Consumers were feeling stingy last month. Retail sales dipped 0.3% in March as people cut back on car buying, mall shopping, and eating out. Analysts say it shows consumers are reluctant to spend freely despite strong job gains. Donald Trump says Republican Party officials have rigged the system against him. ABC's Lana Zak has the details.
On the heels of news that Donald Trump's children missed the deadline to register to vote, more news that the Trump campaign missed important deadlines in multiple states to lock up delegates beyond the first ballot. Trump is fuming.
This is a dirty trick, and I'll tell you what. The RNC, the Republican National Committee, they should be ashamed of themselves for allowing this kind of crap to happen.
The head of the Republican National Committee said the rules were set more than a year ago, tweeting, "Give us all a break."
The 14-karat gold trophy that goes to the winner of the Kentucky Derby arrives today at Churchill Downs, marking the beginning of 3 weeks of hype surrounding the Run for the Roses. Kobe Bryant calls it a career after tonight. Tickets for his last Lakers game are selling for over $25,000. This is ABC News.
Are you hiring? Do you know where to post your job to find the best candidates? Posting your job in one place isn't enough to find quality candidates. If you want to find the perfect hire, you need to post your job on all the top job sites. And now you can. With ZipRecruiter.com, you can post your job to 100 plus job sites, including social media networks like Facebook and Twitter, all with a single click. Find candidates in any city or industry nationwide. Just post once and watch your qualified candidates roll in to ZipRecruiter's easy-to-use interface. No juggling emails or calls to your office. Quickly screen candidates, rate them, and hire the right person fast. Find out today why ZipRecruiter has been used by over 400,000 businesses. And right now, listeners can try ZipRecruiter for free by going to ZipRecruiter.com/ABC Radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/ABC Radio. One more time. To try it for free, go to ZipRecruiter.com/ABC Radio.
The damage total from this season of severe weather in Texas just keeps growing. ABC's Jim Ryan in Dallas tells us insurance adjusters' calculators are burning up.
The terrifying sound of baseball-sized hail is music to the ears of Lee Roth.
It's a storm we've been waiting on for almost 6 years.
Roth runs an automotive body shop in the middle of Dallas-Fort Worth, and the recent hailstorms have him swamped with business. While most Texans warily watch the sky and hope the storms pass over,
we've got a good month and a half, 2 months yet of possible having storms come through.
Insured losses from 3 recent hailstorms may top $1.3 billion. Jim Ryan, ABC News, Dallas.
You probably didn't know his real name, but you likely knew his voice. Arthur Anderson, who voiced Lucky the Leprechaun in the Lucky Charms commercials, has died at the age of 93. His career began as a child and spanned film, TV, and voiceover work, but he admitted his work as Lucky was what he'll be most remembered for. Karen Chase, ABC News.
Local news is brought to you by Fred Holmes Tree Service. FredHolmesTreeService.com, 427-4489.
From the iFIBER ONE News Radio studios, I'm Marilyn Foster.
Mason County Support Services Director has announced his retirement. Bill Kenny, who's been the director since January 2014, says his last day on the job is May 31st. Kenny discussed his departure with the commissioners in recent weeks and said he had personal issues that required his attention. His mother is in intensive care. Mason County Commissioner Terry Jeffries said Kenny's departure will be a great loss. The commissioners agreed to appoint Frank Pinter to temporarily fill Kenny's position in his absence or until it's permanently filled. He was appointed interim director of support services. Pinter served as finance manager for the Mason County Sheriff's Office before he accepted the county budget manager job more than 2 years ago. 2 finalists have been named to lead community services and public works. Mason County commissioners agreed to offer the county's new community services director job to the administrator of the Northeast Tri-County Health District, David Wyndham. The commissioners also voted unanimously to make an offer to the managing engineer for transportation at the city of Bremerton, Jerry Hoff, who previously worked as Mason County Public Works Director about 10 years ago. The commissioners directed county human resources staff to negotiate contracts with the 2 prospects for the high-ranking positions. The commissioners will come back to confirm the hires if Wyndham and Hoff accept the county's offer. If Wyndham accepts, he'll step into a new position created by the commissioners that places him in the lead role over 2 county departments, Community Services and the Health Department. He would supervise community development and health department finances, planning, and the Permit Assistance Center. The new director would also oversee the environmental health and community family health departments. It's National Volunteer Week, and Carrie Lemon from United Way of Mason County told Daybreak about a new website to help you get involved and make a difference.
Yeah, so we wanted to have one central location where nonprofits can post what their needs are and individuals can post what they like to do, so that we match those. So a lot of times people say, well, I don't know what I would do if I volunteer, or, what type of opportunities are there out there? It's really easy because we can match what people like to do. So if they're open to anything, that's great. If they're specific, they want to work with the elderly or reading buddies for kids, then we can match them to what their likes are. And this program does that. And it also tracks how many hours they use. So North Mason High School has a 10-hour requirement volunteering for graduating, and I think Shelton High School is right behind it. And so this program tracks all of that.
Find the website at volunteermason.org to see upcoming volunteer events and opportunities. For iFIBER ONE News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3, I'm Marilyn Foster.
The Dave Ramsey Show, where common sense meets dollars and cents.
The average car payment in America today is $486 over 84 months. If you invest that from age 30 to age 70 in a decent growth stock mutual fund in your Roth IRA, you'll have $5.6 million. Hope you like the stupid car, and it's going down in value. I like cars. I'm not against cars. I'm not against you having a nice car. I'm against your nice car having you. Hi, this is Dave Ramsey. Tune into my show weekdays from noon to 3 on iFIBER ONE News Radio.
Ascend Roofing Company in Shelton's on top of it. 868-2730. Roofing work that speaks for itself.
Hey, just a little note to say thank you for the outstanding work that you, Dennis, and especially Jorge and the crew performed for us on our roofing project. On a scale of 1 to 10, we rate it at 10.5. It was a fantastic feeling from start to finish. Your company is a first-class operation and will definitely give your name to all of our friends and family if they're in need of your services.
You could be the next happy customer by calling Ascend Roofing. 868-2730.
Now from the all-new Gillis Auto Center Sports Desk, here's Sean Wells.
North Thurston took a 2-0 lead into halftime and added 2 more goals in the second half to knock off Shelton on the pitch 4-0. The win moves North Thurston to 4-3 in conference play, while Shelton drops to 2-4-1. The High Climbers are back in action hosting Capital this Friday. The misery continues for the Mariner offense at Safeco Field. The Texas Rangers blanked Seattle 8-0 in Game 2 of the 3-game series. Seattle only mustered 4 hits while the Rangers racked up 12. Former Mariner Adrian Beltre was the big hitter for Texas, going 2 for 4 at the plate with 5 RBIs and a 2-run home run.
Miley's 2-2 swinging. This is clobbered into left field. Aoki having a race back, looking up, and this is gone into Edgar's Cantina right beneath the manual scoreboard. That's a bullet home run by Adrian Beltre, his second of the season. It comes with 2 outs and 2 on. And the Rangers have taken a 5-0 lead here in the third.
The Ames will look to break the 5-game losing streak when they host the Rangers again this afternoon. Pregame gets going on iFIBER ONE News Radio at 11:30 a.m. First pitch set for 12:40. For iFIBER ONE News Radio, I'm Sean Wells.
Good morning. It's 10 after 7. I'm Carol Gardner, and here's the weather. A few light showers this morning. It's going to be an increase in showers later today. Highs in the upper 50s. Tomorrow, some showers in the morning, but decreasing to a mostly cloudy day. And a look ahead, we see some dry conditions. The sun will be back. Right now, it's 45.
Now, from the iFIBER ONE News Radio studios, it's Daybreak. Providing local news, sports, weather, and interviews to the South Sound's most important people. You. From business leaders to politicians, from activists for change to advocates for the poor. Your neighbors and newsmakers are here on Daybreak.
7:10 on a Wednesday morning, and a good morning to you. It's April 13th. Jeff and Carol, morning to you.
Morning. Happy birthday to my niece.
Oh, a little shout out there.
Yeah.
I like it. Get a shout out. You can email us, daybreak@ifiber1.com. We read all the emails that we get from everyone and go through those. Also want to remind you that at 8:15, an hour from now, we'll have Transit Talk. Christina Fremont will be on the air with us. And then at 8:45 is Port of Call here on Wednesdays on Daybreak. We're looking at some stories from around the Northwest here from the Associated Press. And first stop this morning talks about the hospital. Washington Governor Jay Inslee yesterday fired the head of psychiatric hospital. An accused murderer escaped last week. The escape was the latest in a litany of problems at the 800-bed Western State Hospital, where violent assaults on both staff and patients have occurred. At a news conference, Inslee said he had relieved Western State Chief Executive Officer Ron Adler of his duties. Inslee said he would be replaced by Cheryl Strange, effective on the 25th. Previously, she has managed the state public mental health system. Anthony Garver escaped last week from the facility in Lakewood, and he was being held after he was accused of torturing a 20-year-old woman to death. Garver and fellow patient Mark Alexander Adams escaped on the 6th through a key-locked window. Adams was apprehended the next day. Garver traveled to Spokane and caught Friday night. 7:12 at iFIBER ONE News Radio.
Milton Free Water officials are allowing voters to decide whether marijuana businesses should be banned in the Umatilla County city. The Walla Walla Union Bulletin reports the city council voted Monday to put a pot ban measure on the November 8th general election ballot. They also approved a resolution that calls for a 3% tax on pot sales if voters choose to lift the city's current ban. The council's decision comes after it voted in December against changing the city's zoning laws to allow retail or medical pot dispensaries. The city's current marijuana ban doesn't affect personal possession or growing.
7:12 right now. We'll be right back after this quick break on Daybreak.
Listening to Daybreak on iFIBER ONE News Radio.
Life changes, and so do your tax deductions. I'm ABC's Richard Davies with today's tax tip. When you do your 2014 tax returns, consider how your life may have changed last year. New York tax accountant Janice Heyman.
Marriage, divorce, having children. There are so many different things. Retiring, another large change in your life.
These may affect the number of deductions you can claim.
The tax professional and the taxpayer need to be in communication with one another about that.
Even if you've had a child or were married on December 31st, you can take that deduction for the entire year. Still confused? The IRS website is a useful source of information.
It's the best source, the best starting point. If you feel you need more information, you could then contact a tax professional who would have access to different tax libraries.
Checking irs.gov is easier than calling. There are often long wait times if you phone the IRS. With today's tax tip, Richard Davies, ABC News.
Wittenberg CPA is a professional accounting, tax, and financial consulting firm serving the diverse needs of their businesses and individual clients. They bring excellence and integrity to every aspect of their work, from accounting software support like QuickBooks to tax preparation for individual and business needs, as well as personal, financial, and estate planning services. Wittenberg CPA has the services you or your business needs this year for taxes. Find them online at wittenbergcpa.com or call 426-0230. That's 426-0230.
Wipers are like slabs of meat on the grill. Leave either on for too long, and it always ends in disaster. Luckily, Napa now has premium Trek hybrid wiper blades for as low as $14.99 each. Plus, buy a pair and save up to 50% off by mail after rebate. A great deal on Napa Trek hybrid wipers means you can replace your old blades before they turn into a dry, cracked mess. Like last week's barbecue. That's Napa know-how. At participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Offer expires 4/30/16.
iFIBER One News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3 presents Daybreak.
$7:15, iFIBER One News Radio. Good morning, fan. It is Daybreak here.
Good morning, Daybreak. How's it going?
It's going great, Carol. Thanks. How are you?
I'm doing good. And so yesterday we were talking about International Space Day, meaning the first person into space.
Yeah, Yuri Gagarin or something like that was the first Russian in space.
So that was 55 years ago. We celebrated that yesterday. And also yesterday there was that huge announcement we were talking about that Yuri Miller, another Russian, and along with Stephen Hawking, made a huge announcement.
Okay.
So a space exploration plan aimed at finding forms of life in a distant star system is getting some support from Stephen Hawking and the Russian billionaire. It's a $100 million project aimed at one day sending tiny spacecraft powered by an Earth-based laser into outer space in search of life in the Alpha Centauri. So they're going to be super small, like the size of post stamps, and they are going to allegedly pass Saturn in like 3 days and then head out.
That is fast.
Yeah, that is fast. They said it would take 30,000. Somehow they figured out it would take 30,000 years to get to Alpha Centauri with today's technology. But using this tiny stamp-sized nanocraft fleet propelled by lasers. Okay, so you should zoom past Pluto in just 3 days. Excuse me, Pluto in 3 days.
I mean, if that's even still a planet, that's way out there.
Yeah, and then 20 years to get to Alpha Centauri versus 30,000.
Huh.
And the goal is to look for aliens.
And wasn't Alpha Centauri, that's where the guy went in the last Starfighter.
That's what you say, but I just do not remember that movie? Exactly.
7:17 at iFIBER One News Radio. That is darn cool.
Yeah, the project's called Breakthrough Starshot. And he's invested over $100 million into this whole tiny nanocraft thing. No, exactly. He's a billionaire.
He invested $200 million or something we talked about yesterday in a little startup called Facebook. So he's done pretty well for himself.
He has done pretty well. Now, yesterday I was sort of watching the panel, and there's a few people that are on his panel. One of the guys was somebody that had introduced the SETI system. Do you remember doing that? I had that on my desktop for probably a couple of years. Search for extraterrestrial alien life.
Yeah, so down in the Brazil or something like that, they have that big dish.
Well, but you could download the thing onto your desktop, and it would use your sources of your computer to help search and help power it.
You do that?
I did that when it first came out, and that was
surprises me that you would do that.
That was years ago, though, before really anybody was thinking about. I mean, this was like in 2000 or 1998 or something.
I'm surprised because I know how security conscious you are and allowing access.
I used to use Napster.
Whoa!
That was back in the old days.
You could say that. Better watch out. Chief Moody may come by here using Napster.
I don't think Napster's around anymore.
It is. It is.
It is?
Very different.
Well, this was back in the way, way, way old days.
Modern continues to be a problem here. And Carol is big on identity theft protection, security, and things like that. There is a report out from ABC we're going to come back with and have that for us. Chips and credit cards are just one of the many new methods to ensure security from identity theft. Although, does it really make a difference? We'll find out more about this from ABC after this break on Daybreak.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER One News Radio.
Spring is in bloom everywhere, and so is allergy season. A child suffering with allergies is not having fun, and Oakland Bay Pediatrics wants parents to know they are there to help. When sneezing, stuffiness, and watery eyes take the fun out of childhood, parents can be ready with over-the-counter remedies. But when symptoms persist, Oakland Bay has a team of pediatric specialists to advise parents and treat children. Be ready to keep your children's allergies under control. And when you need to consult a doctor, call Oakland Bay Pediatrics at 426-3102.
Oakland Bay Pediatrics is part of Mason General Hospital and family of clinics. Equal opportunity provider, translation services provided.
Mason General and family of clinics.
At highway speeds, the average text takes your eyes off the road for about 5 seconds. That's enough time to travel the length of a football field. Stop texts, stopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
iFIBER One News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3 presents Daybreak.
Good morning at 7:20. I'm Carol Gardner along with Jeff Slakey.
Good morning.
This is Daybreak, and we are talking about identity theft and technology, and it's not like it's a special thing anymore. It's an everyday part of our life.
Yes.
So we had this story from ABC News Radio about chips and credit cards.
Credit card fraud is now a $16 billion a year problem in the U.S. alone. Skimmers every day, every hour, stealing your digits. Still not afraid? Listen to this reformed credit card thief.
It's very easy, and it's a lot of money. So anything I wanted, I would just go out and get for free using these cards.
Dan DeFelipe is poacher turned gamekeeper.
Somebody turned my partner in, and he turned me in.
Then DeFelipe started working for the Secret Service, teaching agents how to stop skimmers, helping themselves to the data on our magnetic strips.
When the magnetic stripe was created, identity theft was an issue, and so the data was never properly encrypted. Once criminals figured it out, obviously it has become a huge issue. This right here is the recently issued standard chip-in signature card. It is supposed to eliminate the cloning of your credit cards.
Because the chip holds your data encrypted. You may have recently received one in the mail from your bank. It's taking a long time and a lot of money to make the switch. So most cards now have a chip with all my details on it. Now, as chips on cards catch on, thieves will move increasingly to so-called card-not-present transactions where the chip means nothing, like online shopping. And 3 top tips in that same vein: don't use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 as your password on accounts. Get complex. It helps. And check your statements. It's the only way you'll know you've been skimmed. Even sign up for alerts that ping you every time your card is used. Banks and businesses are now spending billions to change to the chip, but will they be able to stay one step ahead of the skimmers? I'm Nick Watt in Los Angeles.
Thanks, Nick. 7:22, and more encouraging or not encouraging news to get out there and use your debit credit cards. I've seen these chips.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I have any cards with them.
Yeah, I do not myself. But
these skimmer things are scary. I've seen pictures of them on the fronts of ATM machines.
Yeah.
You don't know.
You can't even tell.
You can't even tell.
So I use my credit card part of my banking system because I just sort of feel like that I don't want them access into my actual cash if there was going to be somebody. So the credit, then you could sort of fight. It seems like you could fight that easier.
I've heard that, and Dave Ramsey talks about that a lot. And he talked about it the other day in a sense of when you go to a store and you're swiping your debit card, which a lot of folks use these days, and you can either go debit or credit.
Right.
I almost always push debit, and then you put in your PIN, and then it comes straight out. He's talked about using the credit one.
That's all I use is the credit on my debit because your money comes directly out. it just comes out as a credit form.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's an interesting distinction there.
And I've been into a lot of places now where you can touch the machine, to pay.
Mm-hmm.
You can touch or use your phone. I mean, it's interesting how it's all starting to come together every day.
I get this guy, this group, I don't know who it was. They think it was Israelis, maybe, were the ones that hacked into that Apple phone by Saeed Farouk, the San Bernardino shooter. They were able to get in and not get any information erased. So these hackers are top-notch.
Awesome intelligence.
Top-notch.
Yeah.
This just popped into my head. If you're working in cybersecurity, let's say for the government, you are kind of harangued by the day-to-day of office life. You have an 8-hour shift. You go home. The last thing you want to do is continue to work on your computer. But that's your job. You sit at your computer 8 hours a day. These hackers, on the other hand, they have 24 hours a day to sit at these things. All hopped up on Mountain Dew, Kickstarter, whatever.
Exactly.
And they're hacking through this stuff like nobody's business.
I mean, like this guy said, you get free money, basically, if you can scam somebody.
Scary. Also scarier than first thought is the Zika virus, which we continue to focus on here on Daybreak at 7:25.
Authorities at the CDC tell us they're worried about what's happening in Puerto Rico. They believe hundreds of infants with smaller brains who'll need lifelong care could soon be born to infected mothers. Every day they learn something new, and it's not good. Besides birth defects and smaller heads, babies are being born premature and blind. Health officials are racing to prevent an outbreak here in the U.S., working with states like Florida on mosquito control and warning travelers to cover up, and pressuring Congress to release $1.9 billion in emergency money that the president requested in February. And it's not just women. Men can get sick too. The virus attacks brain cells and can cause neurological damage. And they're seeing cases where a man bitten by a mosquito ends up passing the virus to a woman through sexual contact. Steve Osentami, ABC News.
So more information every day. We're getting more and more on this regarding the Zika virus. Summer season is coming up. We have talked with Dr. Diana Yu in the past, the Mason County Health Officer, about this. And at the time of our conversation, there wasn't the thought that multiple types of mosquitoes could carry this Zika virus.
Right.
However, now we're seeing that it has been introduced to another type of mosquito.
Yeah, or it already was.
Or it already
there.
was, and we're just now finding it out.
And we're supposedly the mosquitoes up here don't have the ability, but now,
Mosquito's a mosquito in my world.
Oh, rules are off. So just protect yourself from mosquitoes.
Yeah. In the interview, you can find it on iFIBER1newsradio.com that we had with Dr. Yu, audio interview. She mentions, what is the stuff that she uses? DEET? Is that like off? That's the brand name?
I think DEET isn't at the things, but DEET is the brand name. Yeah, the generic stuff that's pretty harsh on you. Yeah, that's why people stopped using it a lot, because it's chemicals.
Yeah.
So, what's depending on who you are, where you're at in your life. So I don't know. It's just weird because we just don't know. That's the scary part.
7:28 at iFIBER One News Radio. Mary Lynn Foster's news is coming up in a couple of moments here. Another retirement. Mason County government has been announced. 2 finalists offered the positions for community services and public works jobs for the county. And she'll be talking about United Way of Mason County. It is National Volunteer Week. Yesterday we had Carrie Lemon on from United Way of Mason County talking about a new website that helps to really connect people's skills, abilities, and wants to organizations that fit those needs. Volunteer Mason is the website. You can find it, links to it through our website, again, iFIBER1newsradio.com. If you haven't watched the video yet that Sean Wells, our sports director, has put on, talking about the North Mason Bulldog baseball team and their coach who's battling cancer. It's a powerful story, good story that Sean has put together. It's on our website. You may have seen it on your Facebook page as well. 728, some reservoir operators in the Northwest say wilder swings in weather patterns in the last decade, making it trickier to fill reservoirs for irrigation and power generation, while also avoiding the risk of flooding homes downstream. Upper Columbia Senior Water Manager Joe Fenolio with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers say they're struggling with recent weather patterns, but statistical data from past years is reliable enough for making predictions. On the eastern side of the Continental Divide, the agency's Missouri River Basin Water Management Division says 9 of their 10 highest runoffs have occurred recently since 1970, and it includes an unusual combination of weather events in 2011. 7:30 now. Mary Lynn Foster's coming up next.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER ONE Newsradio.
Local news is brought to you by Shelton Health and Rehabilitation Center. Find them online at sheltonhealthandrehab.com.
From the iFIBER ONE News Radio studios, I'm Mary Lynn Foster. Mason County Support Services Director has announced his retirement. Bill Kenny, who's been the director since January 2014, says his last day on the job is May 31st. Kenny discussed his departure with the commissioners in recent weeks and said he had personal issues that required his attention. His mother is in intensive care. Mason County Commissioner Terry Jeffries said Kenny's departure will be a great loss. The commissioners agreed to appoint Frank Pinter to temporarily fill Kenny's position in his absence or until it's permanently filled. He was appointed interim director of support services. Pinter served as finance manager for the Mason County Sheriff's Office before he accepted the county budget manager job more than 2 years ago. 2 finalists have been named to lead community services and public works. Mason County commissioners agreed to offer the county's new community services director job to the administrator of the Northeast Tri-County Health District, David Wyndham. The commissioners also voted unanimously to make an offer to the managing engineer for transportation at the city of Bremerton, Jerry Hoff, who previously worked as Mason County Public Works Director about 10 years ago. The commissioners directed county human resources staff to negotiate contracts with the 2 prospects for the high-ranking positions. The commissioners will come back to confirm the hires if Wyndham and Hoff accept the county's offer. If Wyndham accepts, he'll step into a new position created by the commissioners that places him in the lead role over 2 county departments, Community Services and the Health Department. He would supervise Community Development and Health Department finances, planning, and the Permit Assistance Center. The new director would also oversee the Environmental Health and Community Family Health Departments. It's National Volunteer Week, and Carrie Lemon from United Way of Mason County told Daybreak about a new website to help you get involved and make a difference.
Yeah, so we wanted to have one central location where nonprofits can post what their needs are and individuals can post what they like to do, so that we match those. So a lot of times people say, well, I don't know what I would do if I volunteer, or, what type of opportunities are there out there? It's really easy because we can match what people like to do. So if they're open to anything, that's great. If they're specific, they want to work with the elderly or reading buddies for kids, then we can match them to what their likes are. And this program does that. And it also tracks how many hours they use. So North Mason High School has a 10-hour requirement volunteering for graduating, and I think Shelton High School is right behind it. And so this program tracks all of that.
Find the website at volunteermason.org to see upcoming volunteer events and opportunities. For iFIBER ONE News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3, I'm Mary Lynn Foster.
March is Truck Month at Gillis Auto Center in Shelton. We have Dodge trucks and the exciting Ford F-Series with savings up to $10,000 on certain models. Just go to Gillis. Whether you're looking for a car, truck, hybrid, SUV, or performance car, we have them at the all-new Gillis Auto Center, where low overhead and low sales tax means great savings for you. The all-new Gillis Auto Center in Shelton at the City Center Matlock exit and 24/7 at GillisAutoCenter.com.
Science Fantastic with Professor Michio Kaku. Saturdays at 5, Sundays at 6 on iFIBER ONE Newsradio.
Because of the fact there's been a revolution in paleontology with regards to how we view the dinosaurs. When I was a kid, we learned the dinosaurs were cold-blooded, lumbering creatures, kind of dim-witted. They didn't nurture their young, and that's why they went extinct. They were simply too stupid. Well, now we realize that we were pretty much wrong in how we view dinosaurs.
Hi, everybody. Dave Packer reporting on sports. The O's getting another win with J.J. Hardy providing the muscle in Boston.
Swinging a high fly ball heading down the line towards the pesky pole again. In the corner it goes, and that ball is gone. He's done it again.
On WJZ, Baltimore 7-0. On the other side of the spectrum, Atlanta looking for its first win, but things go south in the 8th.
Drew has scored. Coming to the plate, Rendon. He dives in head first. The throw is online.
On WJFK, Nationals slip by the Braves 2-1. They're 0-7. NBA history on the line tonight. If the Warriors beat Memphis, they'll set the record for most regular season wins.
Should be a fun 48 minutes. And hopefully a night we'll remember for a long time.
That's guard Steph Curry. And Lakers' Kobe Bryant will play in his last NBA game. This is ABC Sports. The Oakland A's take a 4-3 lead into the 9th against the Angels.
And he hits a ball well into left center field. That ball is out of here. He just hit a 2-run homer, and the Angels are on top. It's 5-4.
On KLAA, Halos win 5-4. Giants catcher Buster Posey missing time with a badly bruised foot. So backup catcher Trevor Brown gets a chance to shine in the spotlight.
3-2 pitch. There's a high drive deep to left center field. Way back there, still going. And goodbye!
On KNBR, Brown goes deep twice. Giants drop the Rockies 7-2. Other scores, Marlins sink the Mets 2-1. Phillies blank the Padres 3-0. Yankees sneak by Toronto 3-2. Tampa beats Cleveland 5-1. Texas crushes Seattle 8-0. And the Royals hold off Houston 3-2. Durant and Westbrook sit as OKC falls to the Spurs in overtime 102-98. Clippers wallop Memphis. Toronto spanks Philly. And Indiana easily handles the Knicks. Dave Packer, ABC Sports.
Now from the all-new Gillis Auto Center Sports Desk, here's Sean Wells.
North Thurston took a 2-0 lead into halftime and added 2 more goals in the second half to knock off Shelton on the pitch 4-0. The win moves North Thurston to 4-3 in conference play, while Shelton drops to 2-4-1. The High Climbers are back in action hosting Capital this Friday. The misery continues for the Mariner offense at Safeco Field. The Texas Rangers blanked Seattle 8-0 in Game 2 of the 3-game series. Seattle only mustered 4 hits while the Rangers racked up 12. Former Mariner Adrian Beltre was the big hitter for Texas, going 2 for 4 at the plate with 5 RBIs and a 2-run home run.
Miley's 2-2 swinging. This is clobbered into left field. Aoki having a race back, looking up, and this is gone into Edgar's Cantina right beneath the manual scoreboard. That's a bullet home run by Adrian Beltre, his second of the season. It comes with 2 outs and 2 on. And the Rangers have taken a 5-0 lead here in the third.
The Ames will look to break the 5-game losing streak when they host the Rangers again this afternoon. Pregame gets going on iFIBER ONE Newsradio at 11:30 a.m. First pitch set for 12:40. For iFIBER ONE Newsradio, I'm Sean Wells.
Good morning. It's 7:37. I'm Carol Gardner, and here's the weather. A few light showers this morning with an increase later today. Highs in the upper 50s. Tomorrow, some showers in the morning, but decreasing to a mostly cloudy day. And a look ahead, dry conditions, and the sun will be back. Right now, it's 45.
Now, from the iFIBER ONE Newsradio studios, it's Daybreak. Providing local news, sports, weather, and interviews to the South Sound's most important people. You. From business leaders to politicians, from activists for change to advocates for the poor, your neighbors and newsmakers are here on Daybreak.
$7:38 here at iFIBER ONE News Radio. Good morning to you. It's Daybreak with Jeff and Carol. It's interesting. I just was reading an article. So there's these emojis that you have, these little icons that you can send people, these little cute little emojis from phone to phone, but they're different. on phones. And Carol has a Android Samsung phone, and I have an iPhone. So we've been texting each other different emojis and seeing what the different things, and that, we're talking, this is futuristic stuff here, emojis. You see a story out of California about landlines.
Yeah, it's sort of strange. It's coming out today. The California government is considering cutting cords on the landline service. Lawmakers are considering a bill that would allow or permit AT&T to stop maintaining the copper wire landline service in California in 2020.
Whoa.
Except in areas that have no alternative, so they would need the landline.
So this is for folks, so if you have so like LA.
Yeah.
There's cell service everywhere in LA.
Right.
You would think. So that would mean that the phone companies would be able to not service, maintain, and upgrade the actual corded phones?
Yeah. So a consumer advocate who wants to fight that says the landlines are actually less vulnerable than cell phones. If the
power goes out, their tower goes down.
Yeah, tower goes down. So why wouldn't you want to keep a backup? But
I get there's got to be some cost involved in keeping it monitored, but the cost has got to be paltry, minimal compared to the not safety, the sense of ease you get when you do this. When you open a phone and you got the dial tone, knowing you can get out.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know about that. That seems...
That California Assembly, they've been up to some great...
lines available, but to actually not have that available at all, or just not maintaining it. So would that mean you can't even use it?
No, I don't think it.
Yeah.
If it breaks, it's done.
Yeah. I don't know. That's sort of a weird feeling, isn't it?
Yeah. It's similar. You mentioned that. It's similar to when, at least for me, being a Northwesterner close to the ocean, not like on the ocean, but close to a waterway, and you go inland. I'm thinking Kansas. You really, at least for me, I really start feeling landlocked. Like I don't have that opportunity, that option.
Oh, the escape route.
To escape to sea. This is like that for me here.
Interesting.
Additionally, some other stuff coming out of California. A congressman is introducing a new robocall blocking legislation. We'll have that story for you in a couple of moments. We'll take a break right now on iFIBER ONE News Radio.
Listening to Daybreak on iFIBER ONE News Radio.
Presenting another Olympic Coast Minute.
I've been coming to Iron Springs for about 40 years. First as a child with my parents, then as a teenager, then with my husband. We've brought friends, neighbors, in-laws, a few miscellaneous boyfriends of my sister, carried grandma over streams on the beach, and now I'm back with our two lovely daughters.
Iron Springs Resort is where special memories are kept. Iron Springs consists of 25 classic, historic oceanfront cabins, lovingly renovated, with wood-burning fireplaces, uninterrupted ocean views, fully stocked modern kitchens, Wi-Fi, and widescreen TV. It gets better. Iron Springs is offering you their spring special. Book 2 nights, and the third night is on us. Stay 3 nights and pay for only 2. For details, visit us at ironspringsresort.com. ironspringsresort.com. This Olympic Coast Minute was brought to you by Iron Springs Resort in Copalis Beach, where the ocean and seagulls greet you every day.
Mason General Hospital and family of clinics earns yet another award for excellence in its diagnostic imaging department. The MRI program at Mason General was recently recognized by the American College of Radiology for excellence in quality, safety, and capability. The Panorama Open MRI combines state-of-the-art technology with roomy comfort and specialized staff training to meet the gold standard nationwide. Get the most precise images possible in close-to-home comfort and expert care. When your doctor orders you an MRI, have it scheduled in the Diagnostic Imaging Department at Mason General Hospital.
Mason General Hospital and family of clinics. Equal opportunity provider. Translation services provided.
Mason General and family of clinics. Clinics.
Mornings start with Daybreak on iFIBER ONE Newsradio. Join Jeff and Carol weekdays from 6 to 9 on AM 1030 and FM 1033 KMAS Shelton. Join Alex Jones weeknights from 6 to 10 on iFIBER ONE Newsradio.
I know of what I speak, and you can't go to somebody's YouTube channel and say they showed a news article from the BBC and then say that you can't show that because someone in Pakistan was holding up a photo of your son who reportedly died at Sandy Hook, and they're saying that the same person died in a terror attack in Pakistan. Obviously, we've got to investigate this, just like we investigated Brian Williams and his claims.
Are you a do-it-yourselfer or a direct-it-yourselfer?
Every weekend, people tell us about overspending on projects they could have handled themselves for lots less money.
And we hear from people who ended up overspending because they tried to do something they should have called in a pro to tackle.
Well, we'll help you sort it out. I'm Tom Kreitler.
And I'm Leslie Segretti. Got a remodeling or a repair project?
We can help you decide whether to do it yourself or direct it yourself this weekend on the Money Fit Home Improvement Radio Show.
Saturdays at 10, Sundays at 7 on iFIBER ONE Newsradio.
iFIBER ONE Newsradio, 1030 KMAS and FM 1033 presents Daybreak.
.45 at iFIBER ONE Newsradio. Daybreak with Jeff and Carol. Morning to you, Carol.
Good morning, Jeff.
ABC News coming up at the top of the hour. We'll let you know in a couple of moments what they'll be talking about. We have also been talking this morning, these fun government spending reports are out. And now
they're fun?
I mean, they're fun in the sense that we're paying for this. Who are the people that approve these things? What on earth is going on? Talk about wasteful spending. Let's talk about wasteful spending.
This is how your tax dollars are being spent.
Walk forward.
Studying how an alligator walks, listening to birds after they've had a drink, analyzing the mating habits of goldfish. One study looks at the biometrics of why walking with coffee can cause it to spill. Their solution? Helps to use a lid. Republican Senator Jeff Flake wants to put a lid on what he considers wasteful spending.
You wonder, what they were drinking when they decided that this ought to be studied.
But scientists are defending their research. The goldfish study aims to understand how sensory systems work. The coffee research takes a broader look at low viscosity liquid dynamics. Remember, this is science. Congress allocates bulk funding to preeminent research organizations who in turn decide which projects to fund. Flake says that's part of the problem.
If we had more transparency, more accountability, I think they'd be less prone to spend money on what makes a goldfish sexy.
Mary Bruce, ABC News, Washington.
What do you think of that one?
Well, I can understand the scientist's point of view, and it seems weird that you would study somebody walking with coffee, but I can understand how you're learning about the viscosity or whatever. So,
sure.
And on the other hand, when this guy talks about transparency, well, what about all the bills that they do? And then they stick stuff on the end that have nothing to do with the bills. So if you're going to have transparency there, you need it everywhere. Yeah.
Very good.
That's my opinion.
747 at iFIBER ONE Newsradio. The other thing that comes out of government a lot are these acronyms, like the Patriot Act. It's pretty convenient that it was about, anti-terrorism and stuff like that, and it's called the Patriot Act.
Right.
Like, how do they come up with that? They spend, lots of dollars to people sitting around.
It's like logos.
Here's another one, like logos, about robocalls, and it's the RoboCop law.
Those interruptions morning,
if you are 18 or older,
noon, and night.
You've been selected to receive a free cruise to the Bahamas.
Robocalls can be quite annoying, but Representative Jackie Spear of California has an answer. RoboCop.
Protect the innocent, uphold the law.
No, not the 80s action movie, but a law called the Repeated Objectionable Bothering of Consumers on Phones Act. It will require phone companies to offer consumers free optional robocall blocking technology. Kenneth Moten, ABC News, the Capitol.
That's a great idea. You get those? We were just talking about landlines and cell phones. I have a cell phone only, and I very rarely get calls.
Very rarely, but I do once in a great moon. I would get one, but On the other hand, my mom, their landline gets them all the time, and she has called the do not call registry, and they'll do that one. They'll do a first call to see if you're even there, and then if you're there, if you answer, then they'll call back. Have you heard those?
No, and if I don't know, on my phone, I had a call yesterday from Houston, and I don't know anybody in Houston.
Right.
I'm not answering that phone. www.donotcall.gov is the FTC's, the Federal Trade Commission's national do not call registry. You can verify this. Gives you a choice about whether to receive telemarketing calls at home. Most telemarketers should not call your number once it's been on the registry for 31 days. You can file complaints on this website, and you can register your home or mobile phone for free. I feel like I read once that there is a sunset on here, like it lasts for a few years, and you need to re-up on this. And perhaps now it has been blank many years since this came out. So everybody rushed to get on the list right away, and now we're 6 years down the road, and we all now need to collectively re-up this.
And do the marketing companies really make money off of this?
Apparently so.
I know. It's just sort of a crazy thing.
Apparently so.
So we were talking about, how did I even get on this subject? Maybe we were talking off air.
Tell me what the subject is.
The subject is a major pest control company is announcing a huge change to protect bees.
Oh, well, I've been working busily on the yard with...
Yeah, and I guess I was talking about grass and monoculture, and if you just have plain grass planted, it doesn't really invite a variety of species to propagate or whatever.
Sure.
So this Ortho, who's the division of Scott's Miracle Grow, said they're going to immediately begin to transition away from the use of a neonicotinoid-based pesticide for outdoor use, which they think is helping cause the collapse of the bees. You've heard of that, the bee colony collapse.
I feel like, though, we're on the end of that bee thing. There was such a large push for information, and I remember even during past Ports of Call segments, which coming up in about an hour here on Daybreak, talking about groups up there that have worked to try to build bees, rebuild the bee population.
Right.
Flea, you know who he is? The bass player for Red Hot Chili Peppers?
Yeah.
He is now a bee guy. He has a beehive colony in his yard.
I always wanted one. I think it's
try
pretty,
to rebuild these. That's cool stuff.
Yeah.
Now those steps, that's what you got to take. Somebody makes the first step, and then the other companies go, well,
that's right.
They're not losing money on this.
It's like what they take out of food, and everybody's sort of changing their ways. MSG, high fructose corn syrup.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER One News Radio.
April is National Frog Month, and we have some fun facts about our favorite amphibians on the Old Farmer's Almanac Radio Report. With more practical tips and useful advice, this is the Old Farmer's Almanac Radio Report for Wednesday, April 13th, the 104th day of the year. Thomas Jefferson, Butch Cassidy, and five and dime mogul F.W. Woolworth were born on this day. April is National Frog Month, so we thought it appropriate to croak about some long-held myths about frogs. Do they really give you warts? Not at all. Warts are caused by human viruses. Secretions from some toads and frogs may cause skin irritations, but they won't cause warts. Can it really rain frogs? Sure, it's not uncommon for frogs to be picked up in a windstorm, carried miles away, and dropped from the sky. And if you ever see a large group of frogs together, don't call it a gaggle, a flock, or a herd. A group of frogs is known as an army. And there is the Old Farmer's Almanac Radio Report. Find more fun facts online at almanac.com.
It's that time of year again for Seattle Mariners baseball, and iFIBER One News Radio is the only station to carry the Mariners in the South Sound. Be part of the team and advertise your business on iFIBER One News Radio's coverage of the Mariners broadcast every day this season. Summertime in the Northwest means people traveling to enjoy outdoor activities and listening to the Mariners while camping, fishing, and boating. And the only place to listen to the Mariners around Puget Sound is on iFIBER One News Radio. Your business should be part of the Mariners broadcast each day to hit one of the biggest listening audiences in radio. Choose from packages that get you on every game or every inning of over 150 games this season. Call the sales team at iFIBER One News Radio today at 360-426-1030 or email us at sales@ifiber1.com and sign up to be part of the great season of Mariners baseball.
iFIBER One News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3 presents Daybreak.
Well, during the break, I made sure, checked my phone registry on the National Do Not Call list, and it says I was successfully registered on December 16th of 2004. So apparently active for, 12 years now? Jiminy Christmas. That's amazing. DoNotCall.gov, again, is a website. That's where you head to. You can sign up. It's pretty easy. Coming up in just about 6 minutes here, we've got the latest in ABC News. At 8:15, we'll have Transit Talk on iFIBER One News Radio. Also, coming up at 8:45, we'll have our Port of Call segment here, where we talk weekly about the happenings in the Port of Shelton, including Johns Prairie, the Marina, and Sanderson Field. Did mention that ABC News is coming up.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News. Donald Trump in a war of words, not with any of his fellow candidates, this time with the Republican National Committee. He says the whole primary process is unfair and he's being cheated. Latest details coming up.
So that's coming up here in just about 5 minutes on iFIBER One News Radio during Daybreak. Tom Hartman coming up at 9 o'clock, Dave Ramsey at noon. We've got... Actually, Dave Ramsey's going to take the day off today, and we're not even going to get all of Hartman on because the Mariners getaway day is going on, and the pregame is going to be at 11:30 this morning, and the first pitch will be at 12:40. Tomorrow they're off, and then Friday they're going to be in New York to take on the Yankees. Coming up Monday, April 18th. Be listening for your next chance to win tickets to the Mariners during Mariners Monday on Daybreak on iFIBER One News Radio. Pair of tickets to the Kansas City game on April 30th, Nelson Cruz bobblehead night. We've got more passes throughout the rest of the season to give away, including a Kyle Siegel bobblehead night, Robbie Cano t-shirt night, beach towel night. Oh, and then that Father's Day Mariners barbecue tongs. So lots of opportunities to get some great special events when you win with Daybreak on iFIBER One News Radio. 7:57 right now, and more throughout the rest of the day on Daybreak as we've been looking at other stories from around the Northwest. The family of the woman slain and dismembered over the weekend released a statement saying their hearts are broken and can never be fully mended. Family of 40-year-old Ingrid Lynn said yesterday light went out of their lives forever with the death of their beloved mother, daughter, sister, and friend. They are expressing gratitude for community support. Thanks Seattle and Renton Police for working to find the truth about what happened. They said the police have shown much compassion, even going so far as to feed Lynn's daughters as cats. Their home now considered a crime scene, and the cats are still looking to be fed. Court records show the parents of the man accused once sought a restraining order against him, their son, saying they feared for their safety because of son's drunken outbursts. The records show that the parents of John Robert Charlton filed for the temporary protection order back in 2006. The parents said their son tried to provoke fights with them when he was drunk and abusive. Petition later dismissed at the parents' request. More information is coming to light on this story. According to court documents, the Charlton, who's 37, acknowledged that he knew Lynn. They'd been dating for about a month. He said that he and her returned to her home after going to the Mariners home opener on Friday night. From there, the story moves into kind of hearsay. In a sense, Charlton claimed that he had been so intoxicated that he could not recall how he and Lynn returned even to her residence, saying that she is acting weird. He could not provide any further. He wasn't even sure how he left her house. He claims that he assumes she must have driven him back to Seattle, where he says he slept on a sidewalk. Interesting story here as this continues on.
Cameras or something to sort of point where he was when, or where maybe there's if it's a modern car, a chip in the car.
Maybe something there. They got back to the ex-husband. Lynn's ex-husband shows up Saturday morning to drop the kids off or pick up the kids or drop the kids off, and she's not answering the door. He gets concerned. The ex-husband calls the mother, her mother, his ex-mother-in-law. She comes over, checks the place out, looks like, finds her purse, phone, computers. So no robbery or anything, it seems like. Wow. 8 o'clock, and that story is far from over, and we'll continue to monitor that. It's making worldwide headlines now as more people are starting to think about online dating. Security precautions on that.
Listening to Daybreak on iFIBER ONE Newsradio.
The Chad Benson Show, live weekdays from 3 to 6 on iFIBER ONE News Radio, AM 1030 and FM 1033, KMAS Shelton.
Here's the latest from ABC News. I'm Karen Chase. Verizon workers walked off the job in several major cities on the East Coast in a contract dispute.
They want to take away our job security. They want to freeze our pensions. They want to move us anywhere, any state, any time. So we're here for this cause to fight that's saying we're not going to accept it.
Unionized cable and landline workers have been without a contract for 8 months. Deutsche Bank is the latest company to drop plans to open offices in North Carolina because of the state's new bathroom law that critics call discriminatory. PayPal did the same. Governor Pat McCrory rolled back a part of the law, but not the most controversial part. Donald Trump is blasting leaders of his own party. ABC's Jonathan Karl says he's accusing them of stacking the deck against him.
Trump is doing something different now. He's not just criticizing Cruz for allegedly cheating or trying to game the rules. He is going right after the RNC, saying that they are standing by and letting this happen. The RNC is firing right back. Chairman Reince Priebus said these rules have been known for over a year. He says, complaints now, give us all a break. I've never seen anything like it, where you see the party chairman and the frontrunner for the nomination going at it in a war of words.
Affluenza teen Ethan Couch is facing probation violation charges in an adult court at this hour. ABC's Jim Ryan says he's accused of fleeing to Mexico to avoid legal action.
At 19, Couch is now out from under the juvenile justice system and is subject to adult court proceedings. He is still on probation after killing 4 people in a DWI crash when he was 16, but violating that probation now might mean spending time in adult prison.
Hillary Clinton has been endorsed from the New York Daily News days ahead of the state's primary. The op-ed calls her super prepared, a warrior, and a realist. Don't fear you're missing out if you go to bed early. You might miss a cold. A new study finds less than 5 hours of sleep a night makes you 4 times more likely to get sick with a cold, the flu, or pneumonia. This is ABC News.
These days, we barely give lunch the time of day. We bag it, rush it, skip it, and leave it to fend for itself in the fridge. What used to be a break is but a blip on the radar. Well, it's time to take lunch back. At TGI Fridays, get one of our new fast, fresh pairings, like a strawberry field salad with chicken and a bowl of turkey kale soup for just $6.99. Now, with quick mobile pay, settle up whenever you want, which means you'll have time for a refreshing triple berry smoothie. Make lunch count. Only at TGI Fridays. At participating restaurants, available Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m.
ABC Radio presents Made in America with David Muir. Brought to you by Advance Auto Parts Speedworks Rewards. No cards, no points, no nonsense. Details at advanceautoparts.com.
It's a true American classic, the Stetson hat. 150 years old this year, 400 workers on the line at the plant in Garland, Texas. They're proud to be there. Vice President Dan Brown.
We have it made right here in the USA. We're proud of that fact. And we actually sticker the boxes made in USA and the hats themselves.
This is World News Tonight's David Muir. That's Made in America.
More than a dozen of the nation's most popular retailers face an investigation over unpredictable work schedules. ABC's Aaron Katersky has the story.
Employees for American Eagle, Payless, and more than a dozen other retailers are subject to on-call shifts, which require them to be ready to work, but not necessarily scheduled. Usually they have to call an hour or two beforehand to find out if they're supposed to come in. The Attorney General in this state and in several other states say the practice is unfair and makes scheduling childcare, education, or even job searching impossible. A number of stores, including Gap, Pier 1 and J. Crew have ended on-call shifts, and the attorneys general want the others to do the same. Aaron Katersky, ABC News, New York.
5 of the nation's biggest banks have failed the so-called living will test. Federal regulators say Wells Fargo, Bank of America, J.P. Morgan Chase, Bank of New York Mellon, and State Street Bank do not have viable plans to reshape themselves in the event of failure. That could leave them vulnerable to survive without taxpayer bailout money. Karen Chase, ABC News.
Local news is brought to you by Shelton Health and Rehabilitation Center. Find them online at sheltonhealthandrehab.com.
From the iFIBER ONE Newsradio studios, I'm Marilyn Foster. Mason County Support Services Director has announced his retirement. Bill Kenny, who's been the director since January 2014, says his last day on the job is May 31st. Kenny discussed his departure with the commissioners in recent weeks and said he had personal issues that required his attention. His mother is in intensive care. Mason County Commissioner Terry Jeffries said Kenny's departure will be a great loss. The commissioners agreed to appoint Frank Pinter to temporarily fill Kenny's position in his absence or until it's permanently filled. He was appointed interim director of support services. Pinter served as finance manager for the Mason County Sheriff's Office before he accepted the county budget manager job more than 2 years ago. 2 finalists have been named to lead community services and public works. Mason County commissioners agreed to offer the county's new community services director job to the administrator of the Northeast Tri-County Health District, David Wyndham. The commissioners also voted unanimously to make an offer to the managing engineer for transportation at the city of Bremerton, Jerry Hoff, who previously worked as Mason County Public Works Director about 10 years ago. The commissioners directed county human resources staff to negotiate contracts with the 2 prospects for the high-ranking positions. The commissioners will come back to confirm the hires if Wyndham and Hoff accept the county's offer. If Wyndham accepts, he'll step into a new position created by the commissioners that places him in the lead role over 2 county departments, Community Services and the Health Department. He would supervise community development and health department finances, planning, and the Permit Assistance Center. The new director would also oversee the environmental health and community family health departments. It's National Volunteer Week, and Carrie Lemon from United Way of Mason County told Daybreak about a new website to help you get involved and make a difference.
Yeah, so we wanted to have one central location where nonprofits can post what their needs are and individuals can post what they like to do, so that we match those. So a lot of times people say, well, I don't know what I would do if I volunteer, or, what type of opportunities are there out there? It's really easy because we can match what people like to do. So if they're open to anything, that's great. If they're specific, they want to work with the elderly or reading buddies for kids, then we can match them to what their likes are. And this program does that. And it also tracks how many hours they use. So North Mason High School has a 10-hour requirement volunteering for graduating, and I think Shelton High School is right behind it. And so this program tracks all of that.
Find the website at volunteermason.org to see upcoming volunteer events and opportunities. For iFIBER ONE Newsradio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3, I'm Marilyn Foster.
iFIBER ONE Newsradio wants to take this time to thank the sponsors of Mariners Baseball who help bring the games to you on AM 1030 and FM 103.3. You can show your appreciation by supporting our local advertisers who bring you Mariners Baseball in the South Sound. When you support our local sponsors, you are supporting our local communities. More Mariner Baseball is on the way from iFIBER ONE Newsradio.
Wonder what the outrageously energizing experience of Mountain Dew Kickstart is like? Well, it's like a combo of 3 awesome things: dew, juice, and caffeine, rebooting your entire personal operating system.
Mountain Dew Kickstart is in position for consumption. Release the Mountain Dew Kickstart. Mountain Dew Kickstart released. Experiencing a charge of Mountain Dew Kickstart now.
Mountain Dew Kickstart operation successful.
Roger that. Get charged up with Mountain Dew Kickstart. Now in 4 energizing new flavors like Midnight Grape. It all starts with a kick.
Now from the all-new Gillis Auto Center Sports Desk, here's Sean Wells.
North Thurston took a 2-0 lead into halftime and added 2 more goals in the second half to knock off Shelton on the pitch 4-0. The win moves North Thurston to 4-3 in conference play, while Shelton drops to 2-4-1. The High Climbers are back in action hosting Capital this Friday. The misery continues for the Mariner offense at Safeco Field. The Texas Rangers blanked Seattle 8-0 in Game 2 of the 3-game series. Seattle only mustered 4 hits while the Rangers racked up 12. Former Mariner Adrian Beltre was the big hitter for Texas, going 2 for 4 at the plate with 5 RBIs and a 2-run home run.
Miley's 2-2 swinging. This is clobbered into left field. Aoki having a race back, looking up, and this is gone into Edgar's Cantina right beneath the manual scoreboard. That's a bullet home run by Adrian Beltre, his second on the season. It comes with 2 outs and 2 on. And the Rangers have taken a 5-0 lead here in the third.
The Ames will look to break the 5-game losing streak when they host the Rangers again this afternoon. Pregame gets going on iFIBER ONE News Radio at 11:30 a.m. First pitch set for 12:40. For iFIBER ONE News Radio, I'm Sean Wells.
Good morning. It's 10 after 8. I'm Carol Gardner, and here's the weather. We're having some few light showers this morning with an increase later today. Highs in the upper 50s. Tomorrow, some showers in the morning, but decreasing to mostly cloudy. And a look ahead, it's going to be dry conditions, and the sun will be back. Right now, it's 49.
Now, from the iFIBER ONE News Radio studios, it's Daybreak. Providing local news, sports, weather, and interviews to the South Sound's most important people. You. From business leaders to politicians, from activists for change to advocates for the poor. Your neighbors and newsmakers are here on Daybreak.
Good morning to you. It's Daybreak at 8:10 on Wednesday, April 13th. Transit Talk coming up in a couple of moments here on iFIBER ONE News Radio. You can find us on Twitter at iFIBER ONE Radio. On Facebook, facebook.com/1030KMAS. You can like us on the Facebook there and get our news stories right there on your news feed. You can then share them off to your friends and let people know what's going on around these parts. At 8:11, some other stories from the Northwest that we are looking at have been talking about. A Hanford Nuclear Reservation contractor is eligible to receive $18.8 million in incentive pay from the Department of Energy for work last year. Money has not been paid because of a dispute. Mission Support Alliance earned 89% of a $21 million incentive pay for the fiscal year that ended in September of last year. Tri-City Herald says the only negatives listed in the scorecard were costs that the DOE said were inappropriately charged to the federal government. Last week, an Office of Investigator General audit report revealed that the DOE has accused Mission Support Alliance of charging $63.5 million in profit from 2010 to 2014 for a subcontractor with which it shared its ownership ties. The incentive money will not be paid until that dispute is settled.
A new food truck in Seattle has gone to the dogs, catering to our canine companions. The Seattle Barkery is capitalizing on Seattle area's love of dogs and food trucks by offering homemade treats for canines. They rolled into operation 10 months ago, serving dogs at Seattle area dog parks, office building parking lots, farmers markets, and private events. Popular offerings include air-fried chicken feet and duck neck, cupcakes with bacon rebranded as pupcakes, mini cheesy donuts, pumpkin pretzels, and peanut butter banana cookies. And they all sound good for me, except for the air-fried chicken feet and duck neck.
Mocha, what do you think about the duck neck?
Well, they might like it. She might like it. The owner, Dawn Ford, says she likes baking soft treats with pronounceable ingredients. And by Ford's count, their truck is just one of a handful in the country that focuses on dogs.
That's a great, there are good Seattle dog parks, and that's a definite draw.
Somebody could do that here. Maybe not charge $25 for a pupcake, but but maybe special occasion.
New business opportunity.
That's right. Talk to the EDC.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER ONE News Radio.
For your next gourmet meal, you don't need classical training. All you need is a preheated oven and a comfy spot on the couch. Home-baked Papa Murphy's Chicken Bacon Artichoke Gourmet Delight, topped with fresh spinach, grilled chicken, artichoke hearts, and bacon. Or try the Vegetarian Gourmet Delight, topped with creamy garlic sauce and your favorite fresh vegetables on a crispy thin crust. Just $11 for a large. Order online at papamurphys.com. Papa Murphy's, Love at 425 degrees.
Habitat for Humanity of Mason County invites you to shop their local retail stores in Belfair and in Shelton. At Habitat for Humanity stores, you'll find amazing bargains on discounted home improvement supplies, gently used furniture, and so much more. And when you shop Habitat for Humanity, your dollars are put to work helping to improve, build, and maintain affordable housing right here in Mason County. Habitat for Humanity. Let's build a strong community together.
What's taking so long to download that song? What are you using? Dial-up?
No way, dude. I've got cable modem.
What are you, a caveman? You have access to fiber. Why are you paying more for less when you can be using the fastest internet on the planet with iFIBER internet?
Righteous, dude. What's that?
Hurley, you could be surfing the web at least 40 to 200 times faster than cable modem using true light speed with iFIBER Communications fiber internet and still save some major bucks over cable modems. Get off that old analog cable and join this century with iFIBER internet. Hurley?
Yeah?
So what are you doing now?
Dude, I'm calling iFIBER to get hooked up so I can totally surf the web at light speed.
Oh, you're such a caveman.
Ha! Totally.
You can sign up now with iFIBER Communications. You can find us on the web at iFIBER.tv or call us today at 360-427-4000. That's 360-427-4000.
iFIBER Internet. It's totally awesome, dude.
Hi guys, Kat here with iFIBER ONE Newsradio. What if I told you that radio advertising is far more effective than print media? Think about all of your customers driving to work, appointments, or events, all the while listening to the radio. Imagine your commercial airs on iFIBER ONE Newsradio and the customer decides, hey, I'm right by there. I'm going to go check it out. Radio captures you and literally speaks to you and your customers several times a day. This enables you to build a unique message that reminds your customers what you have to offer. Remember, your customers can either drive to you or through you. And here at iFIBER ONE Newsradio, we want to direct customers to you. Being the only talk radio formatted station in the entire South Sound region, we have an entire new market for your business to advertise in. As your sales lady, I take pride in providing your business with the best advertising because I want your business to succeed. So call me today at 360-463-2558 and ask for Kat.
iFIBER ONE News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3 presents Daybreak.
All right, good morning to you. We got 8:16 on a Wednesday. Time for us to talk transit. Christina Fremont's on the air with us from MTA Mason Transit.
Good morning, Jeff and Carol.
So you're in
Good
studio,
morning.
which means last Wednesday's major adventure worked off without a hitch, right?
It did. You know, I have taken the ferry back from Seattle with my car once, but I have never rode the ferry over to Seattle, and I did the as a passenger. So I caught our Route 1 Express at 9:45 a.m., which is a continuous route, so I didn't even need to get off the bus. It continues as Route 3, and got to the ferry terminal at 11, and the ferry left at 11:10. And I was really kind of nervous when I got there because I didn't know what to expect, but literally you get off the bus and it's like 30 steps and you're right there at the entrance for walking on. And because walk-on passengers are free on the way over, there's nothing you have to do. I mean, you literally get off the bus and walk onto the ferry.
Wow.
So I will say, you know, we get there at we had timed that route right with the ferry, so you're not there in enough time to be like the first person in line kind of thing to get on the ferry. But this particular ferry ride wasn't full, so I was still able to get a seat with a table. That lasted all of 2 seconds. I literally did not sit down the entire time. It was gorgeous. I think spring is definitely a great time because you still have the snow on top of the mountains. You pull out of Bremerton and then you turn and look behind you and you have the Bremerton skyline with the Olympic Mountains behind it. Gorgeous, picturesque. I saw people with their, professional photographers with their these huge lenses taking pictures. It was that gorgeous. And it just happened to be a beautiful day. So you leave the Bremerton ferry terminal, you kind of go around this bend and Bremerton fades out. And then you come around this other bend and bam, there's Mount Rainier. Huge, gorgeous, fantastic, and then you kind of go around this other little bit, and bam, there's the Seattle skyline, Cascade Mountains behind it. You kind of see Mount Rainier fade, and then at one point, there was this 180-degree view. You had the Olympics behind you, the Seattle skyline in front of you with the Cascades and Mount Rainier. I was just like, this is why I live in the Pacific Northwest, and why have I not done this ride before, and why am I not doing it every day? This is amazing. So, I mean, it really couldn't have been a better ride. Got there, got off the ferry. I had 45 minutes before my 1 o'clock meeting.
Perfect.
So I sat and had lunch at the ferry terminal itself. There was little restaurants all over. I sat with a view of the big Ferris wheel. Pike's Place Market is a couple blocks away. Pioneer Square is a couple blocks away. My meeting happened to be just a couple blocks away also. So I walked to my meeting, had my meeting. It was great. Got done a little bit early, so I got to wander around Seattle. And then I walked 1 block and I caught the Sound Transit 592 Express, which the fare for that is $375. And it's straight to Olympia. 4 stops: Lakewood, DuPont, and then there's a park and ride in Lacey, Hawks Prairie area, and then downtown Olympia.
Wow.
Nice.
For how much?
It was $375. Yeah. And to walk on the ferry, it's free. So Route 3 is $1.50. So, I mean, there you go. I made it around. I live in Olympia, so I didn't have to go any further. If you were to take the full trip, you're looking at $675. So it was fantastic. And
really
I Googled it, and it only was an hour extra, like I said, on my commute. There was traffic. My route express that left Seattle left a little after 3. So there's still, I thought maybe we'd avoid the 5 o'clock traffic, but it starts at 3 o'clock.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm on a bus, and the bus was really comfortable. Everybody else on the bus, you could tell, was used to this ride. They had their gadgets. Some people were dozing, reading, watching things on their little gadgets, listening to music with headphones on. It was quiet, uneventful.
So here's the question. Would you feel comfortable offering that route solution to your family?
Heck yes. Actually, it's funny you brought that up. My nieces and nephews, we were just talking about this and how I want to take them out on the bus to start getting them acclimated. Like, hey, here's an option. And I talked to their parents about it. And I was like, the great thing is once they get to the age where they're wanting to go see friends, they know how to use the bus. You don't necessarily have to drive them all the time, because my nieces and nephews live here in Mason County. I was like, and I just did a great trip to Seattle. Let's go to GameWorks. So my nephew's really excited.
If you need a chaperone, let me know.
All right.
I'll join you as well.
Well, it got me thinking, and I'm a little premature on this, but I kind of had a preliminary conversation with our general manager right now and just brought up this idea. So I'm not going to say it's for sure going to happen, but I think it's going to. I want to start field trips using transit. I think, it might be neat. 5 to 10 people sign up if you have enough people, and then we can do a guided transit trip. How to get to the Capitol Mall and back for folks that want to do that. How to get to Seattle and back for folks that want to do that. So launched the Facebook page, had a little bit of a hard time the day of. I only got 1 picture. Even though I actually got like 30 pictures on my phone. But so we have a Facebook page now. Everybody go check it out. Okay. It's facebook.com/mason.transit. Or if you're on Facebook, you can just put in the little search bar, Mason Transit Authority. And it's the one with our logo. There's 2 on there right now. And that's just because I didn't know what I was doing when I set it up. And the great thing is in just, I think, a week's time, we have 131 followers, which I think is amazing. And this week, we've really been kind of posting about our volunteer drivers. I know I've talked before about them, but it's National Volunteer Week.
Yeah, for sure.
So I just want to give a shout out to all of our volunteers. Thank you so much. We wouldn't be able to do what we do without you.
So last year, MTA's volunteer drivers provided over 1,000 trips to 80 Mason County residents who otherwise would not have been able to get to where they needed to go.
That is correct.
And by the way, 5 volunteers did this.
Yes.
At 48,000 miles.
Yes. And 2,000 hours.
Jeez, that's awesome.
Yes. A lot of our trips are out of county for medical, so you're going to get a lot of that mileage. I wanted to swing back, Jeff, because last week you talked about the Mariners.
Yes.
I heard you guys are Mariners fans.
Yes, and the schedule calls for a game today at 12:40.
Guess what?
What?
The route I did last week on Wednesday, you could do and get to the game today.
Okay. Let's go back there, because this is big. This is big time. We are in. Somebody's sitting here. It's 8:23. They are just ready to pull into their work driveway.
And
then they start to go, maybe not.
I'm feeling sick.
Not feeling so hot.
Mariners fever.
So they could head home, and then get down to the transit center. Take a bus from there. And get to Safeco Field on that beautiful free ferry ride.
So since it's already after 8 o'clock, I will say they missed the chance to get there really early at 11:15. The other option, it's now after 8, is the next route, 9:45, the Route 1X, exact same trip I took last week, ferry. And then once you get to the ferry terminal, you're going to walk about, I think, 7 minutes, and you're going to 3rd and Columbia, and you're going to get on Route 21, which is Metro Transit's bus, and that costs $2.50, and that's going to get you to Safeco Field at 12:36. The game starts at 12:40.
12:40, that's perfect.
So gives you 4 minutes. You might have to jog to get through the gate right. What do they call the first bat?
First pitch.
First pitch? Okay, sorry. I'm obviously not a baseball.
Well, there's also a first batter.
I was thinking kickoff, but I was like, wait a minute, no, that's football. So you might not see the first pitch unless you're going to jog over there, because I think from the bus stop into Safeco Field, it's about a 7-minute walk average.
Okay.
So unless you're speed walking it and you've got some good gear on for aerodynamics.
But if you took the 8 o'clock one,
if you took the 8 o'clock
you could even walk from the ferry terminal to Safe, right?
It's a long walk.
Is it longer than
it's longer than you thought. It's longer than I would probably want to walk. I would say half an hour is really kind of my max.
I'm putting in my mind, I think it would be.
Is that really?
I think.
Boy, I was way off.
I feel like it is. You could do a pedicab, I'm sure. And just because of the timing, well, if you were there early enough, or if you're someone who likes to bicycle, you could easily bring your bicycle with you. Or buses have bike racks. You can take your bus on the ferry and you can bike over there.
Sure.
If you take the 8 o'clock route, you're going to get to Safeco Field at 11:15 if you took one of their buses.
That's an amazing route. That would be such a fun day.
Oh yeah, I think so. I think families would have a lot of fun.
The other one is the second bus still takes you to the ferry, just about 10 minutes. You have to get on the ferry.
After the game? Are you talking about?
No, when you're heading up to the ferry to take the ferry across from Mason Transit
to the ferry.
How long does that take?
No. So when you get there, you still have about 10 minutes to board the ferry.
Yes.
So it's sort of the same type of leaving the ferry.
Yes, but when I talked to the ferry folks, because of course, me not doing this, I not only looked it all up online, I called all the agencies like, is this still true? Is this still true? Is this right? They said they stop boarding a couple minutes before the ferry is scheduled to depart. Okay. It's scheduled to depart at 11:10. We got there at 11. I went right to the line, and I want to say I probably stood there all of 2 minutes before we boarded. And then from there, time ceased to exist because I was in this amazing environment.
So one thing, though, somebody would need to think about is how long that line could be.
Yes.
Of people.
Yes. So I don't know. I kind of looked to see if there were other agencies advertising. I looked to see is the ferry advertising and be like, hey, you can catch the Mariners game on the ferry. Right. And nobody was. I do know that when Seahawks are playing, that the ferry will get
packed.
Yes. Yeah.
And sometimes they actually send extra ferries. So, however, again, we're set up to be there before it leaves. You're just not going to be first in line.
The next opportunity you have is in May. May 11th is a Wednesday afternoon, 12:40 start. So you can head to the Safe there. Also another one at the end of May.
Yeah, it's $4 there. If you take the ferry back, it's spendier back. The passenger fare back is $8.10. So your total transit fare there and back on the ferry is $16.35.
That's great.
It is. Now, if you were to do what I did, because I like to be a little less expensive in my costs, and take the ferry there and then the bus back, you're looking at $8.25. So
that's a good deal.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Christina Fremont on the air with us during Transit Talk this time every week. Check them out on Facebook, facebook.com/mason.transit. Or you can just search for Mason Transit Authority as well in the search bar.
With the logo, because there is two.
Yes. Well, because you have to create your own page to create a business page. And I started creating my own page as Mason Transit Authority and then realized, oh, wait a minute, this doesn't and you can't change your name for 60 days.
Yeah.
So I'm going to create a bus riding persona, and that will be that page.
Yeah, we should have told you about that because we went through that same struggle.
And on our personal page, we have go to the main Facebook page site.
This is not a real deal.
Yeah. So I just made it the other one. If you search it, you can find it, but I made it otherwise a little bit more harder to find. But yeah, in 60 days, I figure, because the hard part is from a Facebook page, that's a business. I don't like saying I, you want to say we, that kind of thing. But there are things that I do that I feel like as a bus rider, when I'm doing these trips, saying I is a little more resounding than we. It's weird to say we. If I'm like, picture of me, selfie on the bus.
Look at we. All right, Christina. Well, thank you very much. We'll talk with you next week more about all the great things that Mason Transit provides to the community. 8:30 now. We're going to check the morning stock numbers. Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing fine.
Karen Shade on the line. Karen Shade's offices. I was mentioning this morning that your office there on State Route 3 is accepting pet food donations for the month of April.
I neglected to say cat food and other pets. I was just concentrating on dogs last week, so I apologize to all other pet lovers out there.
So all pet donations are being accepted. Okay.
Yes.
How's Wall Street this morning?
Well, U.S. stocks are higher this morning, extending yesterday's gains, spurred by improving Chinese trade data and a recent bounce in commodity prices. In earning news, J.P. Morgan Chase & Company reported first quarter earnings ahead of expectations on good expense control and less of a trading drop than it estimated. In economic news, U.S. producer prices fell 0.1% in March, decreasing the second straight month. Bond prices are mostly lower this morning. So far this morning, in the S&P 500, the best performing sector is financials, while the worst performing sector is telecom. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is up 103 points at 17,824. The Standard & Poor's 500 Index is up 13 points at 2,074. And the NASDAQ Composite Index is up 50 points at 4,922. This morning, volume on the New York Stock Exchange is high, with about 294 million shares being traded, and advancers are outnumbering decliners by a roughly 3-to-1 margin. In the commodity markets, the spot price of gold is down $7.54 to $1,247.99, and the spot price of silver is up 6 cents to $16.25, and crude oil prices are down 6 cents to $42.11. In the bond markets, the 30-year Treasury yield is currently 2.6%, and the 10-year Treasury yield is 1.78%. Stock of local interest, Amazon is up $11.21, Costco is up 87 cents, Boeing is up $1.63, Starbucks is up 61 cents, and Microsoft is up 54 cents. This is Karen Shade of Edward Jones, member SIPC, serving individual investors with personalized attention and long-term financial advice. I'm located at 1051 Southeast State Route 3 in Shelton, and if you'd like additional information, you can contact me at 426-4590. And daily commentary is also located on our website at edwardjones.com.
All right, Karen, have a great day.
You too.
8:31 now at iFIBER ONE News Radio.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER ONE News Radio.
Local news is brought to you by Fred Holmes Tree Service. FredHolmesTreeService.com, 427-4489.
From the iFIBER ONE News Radio studios, I'm Marilyn Foster. Mason County Support Services Director has announced his retirement. Bill Kenny, who's been the director since January 2014, says his last day on the job is May 31st. Kenny discussed his departure with the commissioners in recent weeks and said he had personal issues that required his attention. His mother is in intensive care. Mason County Commissioner Terry Jeffries said Kenny's departure will be a great loss. The commissioners agreed to appoint Frank Pinter to temporarily fill Kenny's position in his absence or until it's permanently filled. He was appointed interim director of support services. Pinter served as finance manager for the Mason County Sheriff's Office before he accepted the county budget manager job more than 2 years ago. 2 finalists have been named to lead community services and public works. Mason County commissioners agreed to offer the county's new community services director job to the administrator of the Northeast Tri-County Health District, David Wyndham. The commissioners also voted unanimously to make an offer to the managing engineer for transportation at the city of Bremerton, Jerry Hoff, who previously worked as Mason County Public Works Director about 10 years ago. The commissioners directed county human resources staff to negotiate contracts with the two prospects for the high-ranking positions. The commissioners will come back to confirm the hires if Wyndham and Hoff accept the county's offer. If Wyndham accepts, he'll step into a new position created by the commissioners that places him in the lead role over two county departments, Community Services and the Health Department. He would supervise Community Development and Health Department finances, planning, and the Permit Assistance Center. The new director would also oversee the Environmental Health and Community Family Health Departments. It's National Volunteer Week, and Carrie Lemon from United Way of Mason County told Daybreak about a new website to help you get involved and make a difference.
Yeah, so we wanted to have one central location where nonprofits can post what their needs are and individuals can post what they like to do, so that we match those. So a lot of times people say, well, I don't know what I would do if I volunteer, or, what type of opportunities are there out there? It's really easy because we can match what people like to do. So if they're open to anything, that's great. If they're specific, they want to work with the elderly or reading buddies for kids, then we can match them to what their likes are. And this program does that. And it also tracks how many hours they use. So North Mason High School has a 10-hour requirement volunteering for graduating. And I think Shelton High School is right behind it. And so this program tracks all of that.
Find the website at volunteermason.org to see upcoming volunteer events and opportunities. For iFIBER One News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3, I'm Marilyn Foster.
At Mason PUD3, we know that time changes all things, like phone numbers, mailing addresses, and email addresses, even names. PUD3 needs your correct account information for emergency contacts and online security. To make this fun, all PUD3 customers who update or confirm their account information by April 27th will have their names placed into a drawing for a free iPad mini. Go to masonpud3.org/account to learn more.
This Monday, you've got a chance to win tickets to the Mariners during Daybreak. Get clues during the Monday morning sports report, and between 8:15 and 8:30, listen for the Mariners theme music, and you could be a winner. First caller with the right answer to 360-462-1041 wins a pair of tickets to the April 30th game against the Kansas City Royals. Only one winner per household per season. For complete rules, check iFiber1newsradio.com. It's Mariners Monday on Daybreak.
Gates. Hi, everybody. Dave Packer reporting on sports. The O's getting another win with J.J. Hardy providing the muscle in Boston.
Swinging a high fly ball heading down the line towards the pesky pole again. In the corner it goes, and that ball is gone. He's done it again.
On WJZ, Baltimore 7-0. On the other side of the spectrum, Atlanta looking for its first win, but things go south in the 8th.
Drew has scored. Coming to the plate window. He dives in head first. The throw is offline.
On WJFK, National slip by the Braves 2-1. They're 0-7. NBA history on the line tonight. If the Warriors beat Memphis, they'll set the record for most regular season wins.
Should be a fun 48 minutes. And hopefully a night we'll remember for a long time.
That's guard Steph Curry. And Lakers' Kobe Bryant will play in his last NBA game. This is ABC Sports. The Oakland A's take a 4-3 lead into the 9th against the Angels.
And he hits a ball well in the left center field. That ball is out of here. He just hit a 2-run homer, and the Angels are on top. It's 5-4.
On KLAA, Halos win 5-4. Giants catcher Buster Posey missing time with a badly bruised foot. So backup catcher Trevor Brown gets a chance to shine in the spotlight.
3-2 pitch. There's a high drive deep to left center field. Way back there, still going. And goodbye.
On KNBR, Brown goes deep twice. Giants drop the Rockies 7-2. Other scores, Marlins sink the Mets 2-1. Phillies blank the Padres 3-0. Yankees sneak by Toronto 3-2. Tampa beats Cleveland 5-1. Texas crushes Seattle 8-0. And the Royals hold off Houston 3-2. Durant and Westbrook sit as OKC falls to the Spurs in overtime 102-98. Clippers wallop Memphis, Toronto spanks Philly, and Indiana easily handles the Knicks. Dave Packer, ABC Sports.
Now from the all-new Gillis Auto Center Sports Desk, here's Sean Wells.
North Thurston took a 2-0 lead into halftime and added 2 more goals in the second half to knock off Shelton on the pitch 4-0. The win moves North Thurston to 4-3 in conference play, while Shelton drops to 2-4-1. The High Climbers are back in action hosting Capital this Friday. The misery continues for the Mariner offense at Safeco Field. The Texas Rangers blanked Seattle 8-0 in Game 2 of the 3-game series. Seattle only mustered 4 hits while the Rangers racked up 12. Former Mariner Adrian Beltre was the big hitter for Texas, going 2 for 4 at the plate with 5 RBIs and a 2-run home run.
Miley's 2-2 swinging. This is clobbered into left field. Oki having a race back, looking up, and this is gone into Edgar's Cantina right beneath the manual scoreboard. That's a bullet home run by Adrian Beltre, his second of the season. It comes with 2 outs and 2 on. And the Rangers have taken a 5-0 lead here in the third.
The Ames will look to break the 5-game losing streak when they host the Rangers again this afternoon. Pre-game gets going on iFIBER ONE News Radio at 11:30 a.m. First pitch set for 12:40. For iFIBER ONE News Radio, I'm Sean Wells.
Good morning. It's 8:40 and I'm Carol Gardner, and here's the weather. It's a few light showers this morning with an increase in showers later today. Highs in the upper 50s. Tomorrow, some showers in the morning, but decreasing to mostly cloudy. And a look ahead, we're going to see some dry conditions, and the sun will be back. Right now, it's 49.
Now, from the iFIBER ONE News Radio studios, it's Daybreak. Providing local news, sports, weather, and interviews to the South Sound's most important people. You. From business leaders to politicians, from activists for change to advocates for the poor. Your neighbors and newsmakers are here on Daybreak.
8:41 here at iFIBER ONE News Radio. Good morning to you. It is Daybreak with Jeff and Carol. And still coming up today, Port of Call. We'll dive deep into a great conversation about the Port of Shelton, including Sanderson Field, the Oakland Bay Marina, and the Johns Prairie Industrial Area at 8:41. We've also been talking about some of the news stories from around the Northwest this morning. And one of those stories is about the psychiatric hospital, Western State. Washington Governor Jay Inslee yesterday fired the head of the psychiatric hospital where an accused murderer escaped from last week. The escape was the latest in a litany of problems at the 800-bed Western State Hospital. Violent assaults on both staff and patients have occurred there. At a news conference, Inslee said he had relieved Western State Chief Executive Officer Ron Adler of his duties, being replaced by Cheryl Strange effective April 25th. Previously, Strange managed the state's public mental health system. Anthony Garver escaped last week from the facility in Lakewood, being held accused of torturing a 20-year-old woman to death. Garver fellow patient Mark Alexander Adams both escaped on April 6th through a key-locked door. Adams apprehended the next day. Garver made it all the way to Spokane, where he was caught by authorities Friday night. Carol, you had additional information on that more folks had gotten out.
Yeah, 2 others had walked away on that same day.
I had not heard that part of the story. 8:43 at iFIBER ONE.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER ONE News Radio.
The new Money Monopoly game is at McDonald's. We're giving away 100 million food and cash prizes. That means 1 in 4 wins. Just peel for a chance to win instant prizes like $100 cash. Or collect pieces for your chance to win $1 million. 100 million prizes. 1 in 4 wins. You could be the one. Monopoly is a trademark of Hasbro. No purchase necessary. Open to residents of U.S. ends 4/25. Odds of winning in-restaurant game approximately 1 in 4. Mostly food prizes. $1 million prize awarded is $50,000 per year for 20 years without interest. See official rules at participating McDonald's or PlayMcD.com for more details. Void where prohibited.
Introducing McDonald's Signature Crafted Recipes. We're talking bold sandwiches featuring authentic ingredients.
What?
You know it, like the guacamole made with Haas avocados in the Pico guacamole recipe.
Wow.
Barbecue sauce made with Vidalia onions in the sweet barbecue bacon recipe.
Nice.
And bacon with maple seasoning in the maple bacon Dijon recipe.
Amazing.
Try them on chicken or beef.
I want to try them all.
It's a new way to enjoy McDonald's. Create your signature crafted sandwich today at participating McDonald's.
It's a new look to the Seattle Mariners. From the GM down, things have changed. One thing that hasn't changed is that we at iFIBER ONE Newsradio are still your only South Sound home for the Seattle Mariners. The Seattle Mariners are brought to you in part by Whitney's Chevrolet, Ascend Roofing, L&D Bottling, Claris Eye Center, BUD number 3, and Olympia Furniture Company.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Paraswabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is John Greenhut, the CEO of Paraswabs. And if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Paraswabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Paraswabs risk-free, call 1-800-928-7113. That's 1-800-928-7113. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends, family, and coworkers talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-928-7113. That's 1-800-928-7113.
iFIBER ONE News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3 presents Daybreak.
Well, 8:45 on a Wednesday, we take this time to dive on into Port of Shelton business, and we've got on the air in the studio, Commissioner Dick Taylor. Morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you?
We are well. Nice start to the day.
Oh, it's a beautiful day this morning. Yeah, what are we getting into? 10 minutes? We've got.
Yeah, we got. By the time you leave here this morning, it may be
wet. Well, it was wet last night, and it was.
Yes, it was
wet during the night. So what the heck? But April showers, as the old word goes.
May flowers.
We're looking forward to the flowers. Yeah.
Yeah. Monday. This past Monday, you and the
Mariners
commission
lost.
The Mariners lost, but the community won because the port was able to get a retreat, first retreat in many years.
Oh no, this is the first retreat in 2 years.
Well, that's many.
Well, yeah. I mean,
at least first retreat with new Commissioner Patterson.
Yeah.
How did it go? It was up in Belfair.
It went fine. We got together and it was very collegial. We came out with some ideas for priorities of where we want to go. And I can announce that the very first priority is to start the hiring process for a new executive director.
Okay.
And we will do that. But we haven't, at the next meeting, we will make the decision as to the path that we're going to go on, how to do that, whether we hire a search firm for us or we just advertise ourselves or whatever. We'll make that decision on Tuesday.
Okay.
So, and that's paramount in what we need to get going to get that done. And that was the basic or the biggest thing that we got done. We looked at some other things about what priorities we had for doing what, where. We talked extensively about the marina. And of course, the project of the cleanup of Oakland Bay down at that end, we're deeply involved in that. And the marina is just kind of a side issue to that, but it is part of it. And we have some issues with repairs that have to be made down at the marina to some of the docks and whether we should do a Band-Aid repair to them or should we just replace the whole dock now.
Oh, yeah.
What's more cost effective? So the staff's looking into that and seeing what's a better idea and plan to go to get that done. But it needs to be done before winter storms start again.
Yeah.
So we'll have that going on. Sanderson Field, we didn't have any real projects for the airport itself. Well, we are going to have a new runway going in, but that's in the planning. We're looking at some building construction up there on the industrial park at Sanderson Field. And how do we go about that? Do we want to build a great big building that's dividable into 5,000 square foot portions or what have you? We're looking into that, and that's on our list to look at. Plus acquisition. Do we want to buy buildings somewhere and do it? And that happens in ports throughout the state of Washington. Back in the eastern Washington, some of the ports are buying properties that aren't anywhere near the port property, but they're investments for them.
Yeah.
And we can do that. I mean, we have the ability to do that. Whether we want to do it or not, I don't know. But so we're moving along.
Okay.
And
so you said you talked in depth on the cleanup of Oakland Bay. Are you working with the county, city, Sierra Pacific?
What we are working with is a coalition of the Squaxin tribe, the Mason County Conservation District, the Salmon Enhancement Group, Simpson. I think that's all of them, and us.
Yeah,
that's it. And the Squaxin Island tribe is managing. The money flows. They're the money managers for it, but we're all part of the consortium to look at this and work at it. And we're moving along. I think we're over $2 million in grants so far.
Wow.
And so we can move right along with the planning and engineering for this thing. So that's going to happen.
I know that this summer up on the port property, Sanderson Field property, we're doing the evergreen tremors. We got the
that's big exercise, right?
What are there other events that will be taking up some sort of residency on the abandoned runway or other parts of the?
Well, we have Oyster Fest coming on.
So Oyster Fest again will be up there?
Oyster Fest will be there, and it will be until it gets decided where they want to move it permanently. We can't put any. Because of the restrictions we have on us, we can't put any permanent structures up there for Oyster Fest, and we don't. They're all tents. The infrastructure that was put in, the water and the power and that sort of thing, was all put in future in anticipation of growth on that hill that's right there for economic development, putting in buildings and what have you. And we have some ideas on what we want to do there. And some ideas have come and some have gone over the past 4 years. I've seen 3 or 4 different things that have been discussed about what we want to do with that hill in various companies that we want to go in. And those things change, and they will until the dirt is shoveled and the nails are pounded and the buildings get built. But that's what that infrastructure is for, is to support that hill.
That last year's Oyster Fest, I mean, I thought that the setup was pretty right on.
Yeah.
It looked pretty good. The parking and all that, which had been issues in the past.
Right.
So many people coming to Oyster Fest. It was a beautiful weekend. And I thought it all seemed to flow pretty nice up there.
Yeah, it did. And of course, it was a perfect storm weekend.
Yeah.
It was absolutely magnificent weather. The Seahawks were not playing here. And what else? There was one other thing. Anyway, it was just beautiful.
Yeah, it was a great time.
Great time, and so we had, record numbers of people come. There are a few things that we need to work on, but minor.
Yeah.
Minor arrangement kind of things. It came out well.
For the first time out the gate.
Yeah. Of course, Skookum Rotary is the one that does that, and we're in a support role with them.
Okay.
Providing them the facilities, and we'll continue to do that. But we can't do it per the FAA. We can't do it on a permanent basis.
Sure. That makes sense.
And we're going to do it. And, and that's what they do up at Bremerton with their race track up there. That's not on a, that has to be, if it needs to be vacated, it needs to be vacated kind of thing. So, but we're excited to do that. We're excited. I'm excited about Johns Prairie. And you guys have been here long enough to see what Johns Prairie has happened at Johns Prairie in the past 5-6 years.
Yeah.
It doesn't look the same at all. And we've got companies that are striving to go in there. And as soon as we can get the building ready for them, they'll be in there. And to me, that's exciting to have that and get that going and get more jobs going.
Oh, yeah.
And we will. We will.
Well, that's a good problem to have, is that the folks are waiting to get the buildings built.
Right.
You got a line.
Yep.
I like it. Dick Taylor, Commissioner, Port of Shelton, weekly port of call here on iFiber One News Radio, continuing to move on into the nicer weather and things to do and see and check out. Definitely take time. Now, keep in mind that it is people's property up on Johns Prairie, but you can drive down.
You can drive through it on the streets,
and look through and just see the change. It is a really a big change. Very cool. All right, Dick. Well, thanks for coming in.
My pleasure.
Nice day today. Go forth and prosper at 8:53. We'll take a break and surface on out of here. Get ready for 9 o'clock, which is coming up in about 6 minutes on iFiber One News Radio.
Listening to Daybreak on iFiber One News Radio.
April is National Frog Month, and we have some fun facts about our favorite amphibians on the Old Farmer's Almanac Radio Report. With more practical tips and useful advice, this is the Old Farmer's Almanac Radio Report for Wednesday, April 13th, the 104th day of the year. Thomas Jefferson, Butch Cassidy, and five and dime mogul F.W. Woolworth were born on this day. April is National Frog Month, so we thought it appropriate to croak about some long-held myths about frogs. Do they really give you warts? Not at all. Warts are caused by human viruses. Secretions from some toads and frogs may cause skin irritations, but they won't cause warts. Can it really rain frogs? Sure, it's not uncommon for frogs to be picked up in a windstorm, carried miles away, and dropped from the sky. And if you ever see a large group of frogs together, don't call it a gaggle, a flock, or a herd. A group of frogs is known as an army. And there is the Old Farmer's Almanac Radio Report. Find more fun facts online at almanac.com.
Hi, everyone. This is Mark Tobert, your advertising consultant from iFiber One News Radio. Are you missing customers because you only market to a specific group? iFiber One News Radio can help you hit a larger group of buyers with our diverse audience. We are 24 hours of local and national breaking news, award-winning talk radio, and primetime sports, including local high school sports. What does this mean to you? This means our listeners listen longer to entire programs and don't switch to another station when a commercial comes on. Our coverage in the Puget Sound area hits over 500,000 listeners, including Mason County, Thurston County, Grace Harbor County, King, Pierce, Joint Base Lewis McCourt, and Kitsap County to the Bremerton Naval Base. All advertising is 100% tax deductible. So how can you afford not to advertise? Call me, Mark Tobert, at iFiber One News Radio to become a total audience plan advertiser. Just call 360-426-1030.
Are you a do-it-yourselfer or a direct-it-yourselfer?
Every weekend, people tell us about overspending on projects they could have handled themselves for lots less money.
And we hear from people who ended up overspending because they tried to do something they should have called in a pro to tackle.
Well, we'll help you sort it out. I'm Tom Kreitler.
And I'm Leslie Segretti. Got a remodeling or a repair project?
We can help you decide whether to do it yourself or direct it yourself this weekend on the Money Fit Home Improvement Radio Show.
Saturdays at 10, Sundays at 7 on iFiber One News Radio.
iFiber One News Radio wants to take this time to thank the sponsors of Mariners Baseball who help bring the games to you on AM 1030 and FM 103.3. You can show your appreciation by supporting our local advertisers who bring you Mariners Baseball in the South Sound. When you support our local sponsors, you are supporting our local communities. More Mariner Baseball is on the way from iFiber One News Radio.
iFiber One News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3 presents Daybreak.
8:57. I know, we do need one-way glass. 8:57 at iFiber One News Radio. Good morning to you, Daybreak. Jeff and Carol. Morning, Carol.
More like Jeff. If you're looking at the video.
Oh, it is just me on the video. Yeah. Hey, good morning there.
Yeah, cloudy. It's going to be about 58 today. Maybe some rain. Though I heard there's some sun out there right now. If you run outside right now, you might catch some sun.
Yeah, it looks nice right now.
Mm-hmm.
This is my breaking news sound.
Don't quit your day job.
I won't. Nessie has been found.
Oh, no.
Yep, they found the Loch Ness Monster.
No, I can't believe it.
A 30-foot model of the Loch Ness Monster built in 1969 for a Sherlock Holmes movie has been found at the bottom of the loch. The beast was created by the Billy Wilder directed The Private Life of Sherlock Holmes and Christopher Lee. Not Saruman, but one of the guys from Lord of the Rings, Christopher Lee. It has been seen for the first time in images captured by an underwater robot. Loch Ness expert Adrian Shine says the shape, measurements, and location pointed it to being the prop used in the movie. So it's just a prop, but it looks like Nessie. And so you can imagine if someone's floating over the loch with one of those radars, they ping on this thing, and it's got the outline.
So when was that
so the movie was in 69.
Okay.
So it's been there the whole time.
Yeah, but they've been spotting Nessie for way before 1969.
Oh, yeah, no, way back in the 1700s, I feel like there are reports of the Loch Ness Monster. But it's a monster, nonetheless, maybe not the one that everybody was expecting. The model was built with a neck, had 2 humps there, and it looks like the Loch Ness Monster.
All right, so they got it out of the water, and
no, I think it's still there.
Oh. Well, they could do a tourist thing.
Yes.
A park like Jurassic Park, but Loch Ness Park. What could go wrong with looking for a monster?
What could go wrong? Life finds a way. Have a great rest of your day. We'll be back tomorrow on Daybreak.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER One News Radio.